The American Karate Association President and Vice President and Event Directors John Sharkey and Hunter Lyon would like to welcome you to Chicago in the 2025 AKA Warrior Cup Finals. I'm Brett Thomason, and joining me tonight is the Vice President of the Professional Martial Arts Conference and the promoter of the Memphis Open, Mr. Joey Perry.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. And 7-time world champion, Mr. Mallory Woods.
Thank you, Brett. It's great to be here with both of you guys.
After 59 years, the AKA Warrior Cup prides itself on being the longest-running open martial arts championship in North America. The Warrior Cup competition pushes athletes to bring their absolute best to the stage in hopes of walking away as one of the few that have earned the prestigious title of Warrior Cup winner. Now, Joey, the Warrior Cup has been on fire today. It's been absolutely phenomenal. What can we expect to see tonight from the Forms and Weapons competition?
Yeah, specifically that a lot. There's some really cool stories. If you guys know from past shows, I'm always excited to talk about these athletes and see if they're coming back year after year and growing in that way, or who the new faces are. This weekend, we've got some really interesting results happening. We have starting in the youth. Let's just focus on the ladies, for example. There's just such a long-standing competition the last couple of years with Sofia Rodriguez-Flores and Avery Presley. You know, two of the top. Different. You have the CMX side, you have the traditional side. They can kind of do everything. They both qualified once again to be in the Warrior Cup final tonight, winning respective grands. That's going to be exciting to see what they can do. Kind of attached to that, especially on the Avery Presley side, her brother, Jake, as we all know, has been on the stage year after year after year, multiple-time champion. Big surprise today, he got taken out by teammate Dawson Holt, who's also a training studio mate. They've trained together for years. That's thrilling and kind of an all shucks kind of thing, you know. So excited to see how Dawson does tonight in the final. And he's really kind of been on a roll. You know, we talk about the people that have been the last few years and growing. He's won multiple championships, multiple finals. So we'll see what he can do. His big competition tonight, Mason Stowell, is back, and we all know he is an Olympic level athlete, traditional martial arts and kata competition. So that's going to be just absolutely stellar. So on the Forms and Weapons side, we have many more stories to tell, but those are exciting.
I know personally I can't wait. Those guys are all absolutely phenomenal martial artists. And Mallory, what do we have on the sparring side for both the men's and women's today?
Well, I think the interesting side of the house is for the men's. Men's has been a virtual hot potato over the past couple of years. You got Darren X capturing his first Warrior Cup a few years ago, then followed by a recapture, of course, by Avery Plowden. Plowden, a name we're well familiar with at the Warrior Cup. And then, of course, last year, King Bailey Murphy made an appearance. Of course, he's off, spreading his knowledge all over the world right now, but he's not here tonight. So who's going to take that spot? And maybe the men will be able to repeat like the women. Now, of course, you've got Katarina Herman, who is now cementing her legacy in Warrior Cup, trying to add, I believe, fourth tonight. She chases names like Nash and Plowden. Of course, Morgan Plowden. But the question is, can she add another one, and will that legacy continue? That's all going to be answered tonight.
There will be a lot of great competition just ahead. We want to take a minute to thank our finals broadcast sponsors, Century Martial Arts and Royal Caribbean. Before we get started with tonight's competition, let's take a look at some of the action from this weekend. Congratulations to all in attendance, and we thank you for joining us to make this another exciting and great start to the competition season. At this time, please stand and join us for our national anthem, performed by Miss Teen Connecticut, Miss Gabrielle Rudolph.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Gabrielle Rudolph. Welcome to the 59th AKA Warrior Cup Finals. We are in the lovely city of Chicago at the beautiful Hyatt Regency, and you are all in for a fantastic evening as your favorite competitors will be competing to take home the prestigious Warrior Cup. We are going to be jumping right into our divisions with the 14-17 NASCA Overall Grand Championship Black Belt Boys Rounds. Now, before I call out the competitors, I want you guys all to make some noise as we kick this off and get this show started. I would rate that a 7 out of 10. Let's make some noise and let's get this started. 9.99. All right, let's get it going. Your first competitor of the evening is going to be Noah Sansate.
The 14-17 Raw Grand. Up first, right now, out of Ontario, California, 17 years old, representing Team AKA. And of course, this competition coming up next will be Judah Sagawa from California. First up, we've got
Represent
Noah.
Team AK, I'm Noah Sensei. May it begin. Thank you, judges.
And NASCA for the North American Sport Karate Association, sanctioning many of the divisions here at the AKA Warrior Cup, AKA standing for the American Karate Association. Competitors make it through the NASCA divisions in order to qualify for the Warrior Cup finals. So essentially, not only is this a grand championship under NASCA rules, but this also is to qualify for the coveted Warrior Cup.
Noah's no stranger to this stage, or any stage for that matter. He has been on a roll the last few years, showing everyone why right now.
One thing that has made Noah so dominant in this division over the past couple of years is his power. He brings a great deal of power and strength to his bow form. That's one of the things that bow as a weapon is so good at showing off. The judges hear the bow popping against the body. Of course, you're throwing strikes intended to hit a target in front of you. That hit up against the body is residual impact, but it's a great way for the judges to tell just how hard these athletes are striking.
And in a traditional form, I'm not traditional, but you can hear that, and it adds that pop to the intensity, of course, of the strikes and, of course, the kiosks and everything. And really, since there's no music playing in the background, it's a great way to get that crowd going.
Watching Noah the last few years grow and really be on a roll, of winning more often than not those divisions. Everyone can see that. Great power, great speed, great control of the weapon. Great job.
And his competitor for the evening is going to be Judah Sagawa.
All right, so in the background, you can probably hear our man Reed Presley down at the stage.
Mr.
calling
Captain
out.
America, of
That's
course.
That's right, Cap, for the in-house audience. So we'll try to let you hear him as much as possible. And, of course, our competitor on the stage now, Judah Sagawa from San Diego, California, from Team Freestyle, coached by Mr. Will Jackson. Judah is one of the most dynamic and exciting competitors on the circuit today of any age, and you're about to see why.
And the story of these NASCA Junior, meaning under the age of 18 Grand Championships, always the showdown between traditional and CMX, or Creative Musical Extreme. And talk about extreme, a huge double full to open this performance for Judah Sagawa.
He always brings it, being able to watch him the last few years, judge a lot of those divisions. He is so consistent, so solid. He had a tough weekend this weekend, being a little under the weather, but he's pulled, what he can together to come out and give an unbelievable performance here, and I'm sure he's going to be flawless. Let's go.
And that's something to be said. You can never predict when you might shake the wrong hand, get sick, but the show goes on. And it's happened to me before where you get sick right before competition, but you you have to push on through. So kudos to him to continue to go ahead and perform even in the conditions that he finds himself in.
That's a testament to his athletic ability and taking care of his body and being ready and in condition to do this, right?
Absolutely so.
A massive triple spin box cutter right into the Webster catch.
Wow.
Huge difficulty at the end for Judah Sagawa, San Diego's finest.
Absolutely. Love it. I love it when these athletes and competitors nail what they're doing. I mean, everybody wants to see a great show, but I always find myself really rooting. Even when I'm judging 37 people in one division, I'm like, I don't want anyone to drop. I want everybody to nail it and have that moment. Let's see what's up. So I love that.
And because those moments right there, those big moments represent weeks and months of preparation, and there have been drops before, there's been frustration, there's been everything, and hopefully we don't get to see that. We just see the payoff that these athletes have, for the hard work that they've done.
It's everything. I love it. Yeah, both of these young men, great ambassadors of the sport, great attitudes. We see them everywhere working hard, being respectful. So great to see them on stage here in the final.
And really the future of the martial arts itself.
Absolutely. And I love the diversity, as you mentioned, Jackson, about the final all night, traditional versus CMX. Apples and oranges.
9.98.
All right, here come the scores.
9.99. 9.98. 9.98 and 9.98 for Mr. Noah Sensate.
So Noah Sensate steals a 9.99 there, the typical score befitting the winner in the eyes of the judges. Everything done on a hundredths of a point basis. Judah Sagawa getting the vast majority of them from these judges, and he will be your overall grand champion.
For Judah
Well, all night long, wishing luck to every single competitor. Nothing but positivity. But it is a cool story knowing what that young man went through this weekend, being a little sick and pushing through. So it is cool to see that. But great job to him and Noah for making the final. They've already won grand championships.
Right.
So this is the final of the final here. So outstanding.
But for Judah, job's not finished.
No.
He's still got to go to the Warrior Cup round and try to go for that Warrior Cup. And that's
right.
what's so special about this event, is there's always that extra step until you've got that Warrior Cup coming home with you.
I love this finals, man. You got to keep climbing.
Weapons Division. Up first, we're going to have Avery Presley.
All right, we're moving on to our ladies 14 to 17 NASCAR Overall
go.
Grand Championship Girls Weapons.
Let's do it.
This is going to be also a treat.
Well, Avery has a few cups at home.
A few.
Right? A few. This is a family tradition, I think. Hank Williams sang about that. Pretty sure of it.
Avery, a two-time Warrior Cup champion. She is the defending Junior Weapons Warrior Cup winner, as well as a Forms Warrior Cup winner from back in 2023, looking for a three-peat tonight with back-to-back wins in the weapons category. She has to win this overall grand championship to make it to the Warrior Cup round.
All right, let's go.
One thing that sets Avery apart from her competition is that speed. You see her right out of the gates into the release, and a signature 540 kick to the knee spin.
It's consistency. You know, watching her over the years growing up, and a lot of the competitors as well, but you know, Avery specifically, very consistent, you know, in her progression, her speed, and as she's been improving and getting smoother and more fluid with her performance, it's more and more dynamic, and just, you know, when she's on, it's fire. Great job. Great performance.
Avery Presley laying down the gauntlet, a form befitting of a grand championship, depending on what her competition comes out with.
There's always another part.
Well, it's no easy task because Miss Sofia Rodriguez always brings it. Great stage presence, performance ability, strength, power, speed, quality technique. She's got the total package, they would say. So if there's a traditional weapons form that can challenge what Avery just gave us, it's going to be what Pia brings to the stage.
And talk about total package. That's one of the things that's most impressive about Sofia, is that she's not just a one-trick pony. It's
Right.
not just traditional weapons, it's traditional forms, and it's point sparring. In
Yes.
all of the major disciplines, Sofia's out there competing. She does the extreme stuff too.
She does everything, which, by the way, you can do a free competitor seminar with Sofia at the Memphis Open, February 14th and 15th, I heard.
Nice little plug there.
That was an easy one. All right, Sofia's right out of the gate. No music. Acapella.
Yep. Just got to let it go, man.
And I think that's a good choice for her strategically. She choreographs her forms to the music so well that in this case, she might be planning ahead for if she makes it to that Warrior Cup round, we might see her choose to bring out the music then. So she might be keeping that as an ace up her sleeve, hoping that she gets to perform again later tonight.
I like that thought, my man. You know what? She's pretty, like, to be young, she's pretty seasoned.
Yes.
So, you know, being strategic with that and the presentation being different, yet the same, absolutely. Might see that. That'd be interesting. But she's got to get past Avery right here, right?
Step one first.
Step one.
Step one first.
Step one.
And one of the things that's going to give her a chance to do it is she is an excellent performer. The aura about her when she's doing a form on stage, the
Yes.
seriousness that she brings to the room, it's tangible. You can feel it. And that's one of the things that sets Sofia apart, especially as a traditionalist.
And you've heard me say it, I think that her and her brother both, you know, Sofia in particular just has a certain presence on that stage. So, you know, she's got that notch. Great job. That was a pretty flawless performance from both ladies.
And that's what you love to see. Both competitors at their best. There is the possibility that if somebody drops a weapon tonight, there is an automatic deduction from the
Right.
judges. The competitor has to receive a maximum score of a 9.95.
Right, easy.
And statistically speaking, we'll probably see that at some point tonight. We
should.
hope we don't.
We hope we don't.
But it could come into play.
odds are it's going to happen.
Yeah, these ladies were outstanding. It's all what the judges saw, right? Here we go.
9.99, 9.98, 9.98.
So you see 5 9.99s
Okay.
for Avery Presley.
So it's
Out
gonna
of
ask
7
4 or 5.
judges, that'll be a majority.
That
so
will
unless
be.
we see some 10s start flying, which
Okay.
hopefully we do see that at some point tonight
True.
as well.
You're a fan of that?
Oh,
Okay.
I love it when 10s are flying.
Been a minute.
9.98, 9.98.
You are absolutely correct. So Avery pulls 5 of the 9s, and Sofia pulls 2 of those, you know, representing, like you said earlier, a first or second place score in this particular environment. So Avery will move on. Avery Presley will be our 2025 grand champion. That's 14 to 17 girls weapons.
That's true.
Now, our defending champion with an opportunity to defend her title. She is now just one win away from her third career Warrior Cup.
That's
a spectacular achievement, especially for a young female, because that is another big part of the storyline for the Junior Warrior Cups,
Right.
is the fact that the boys compete against the girls for that title. And actually, it's the same for the adults in Forms and Weapons. The only place they separate it is for sparring, of course.
Absolutely.
Love it.
We go to a quick word from one of our sponsors.
Yeah. Great.
Now, as we get ready for some of the events tonight, we're going to have the Korean Challenge, which is a special part of NASCA competition that has been introduced recently. It's not a NASCA division,
Right.
but it often happens at a lot of the NASCA tournaments. And it's this really unique competition format where, because it's Korean Challenge, you must do a form from a Korean style, most
Correct.
commonly Taekwondo or
Or
Tang
Tang
Soo-do,
Soo-do.
right? Exactly. And both athletes go on stage at the same time and do their Poomsae, the Korean word for forms, side by side.
Very
You know,
cool.
It's interesting also because if you're used to doing traditional kata, it's just you out there, just as we just saw before, a great display. But to me, it's almost distracting having a competitor because you can pace your kata to depend on maybe you want to end first, maybe you want to end last, maybe it's a last big sidekick stick at the end that you want to just wait. I want all the judges looking at me at that point. So you can go a little slower or pace yourself. So there's some strategy there on how slow or fast, which really makes this interesting.
Yeah, it is. And I love these competitors. I mean, they are world class, two of the best in the game. I mean, so be able to see that type of challenge and quality is awesome.
Very well said.
And in this particular event, we're getting a special exhibition where the men's and the women's winner are going to be sharing the stage, competing at the same time against one another. And I love what Mallory brought up about some of the strategy involved in this. You want to have that last kick, that last big yell to show the judges your intensity, because honestly, whoever gets the judges to pay attention to them for the longer amount of time is probably going to be the winner.
Yeah, so the format being executed here, even though it's a, quote, exhibition, because these are our two winners, from the men's and the women's side, but the format, that, as we described, is really special. It's a little unique in the open market.
I mean, that was really just a display right there. You had that big opening front kick, but then you have that twist kick that was right there, and she held it. My hips told me, don't even think about doing that ever again.
Was able to officiate the women's Korean Open division this morning, which is different than a traditional challenge division because of certain rules that they apply, as we've indicated. And Lily, being right there in the top two in that division, we had Caitlin Long, another strong, amazing female competitor in the Korean division. Lily coming out ahead this weekend overall and earning her way to the stage here. She is fantastic and still competes regionally, nationally, and of course throughout the World Tour. So showing this crowd what's up with those kicks.
And to be sure, we're showcasing both competitors here. Miles Omlor making his first appearance on a NASCA stage here at the Warrior Cup in this Korean Challenge division. And another thing we got to point out, as these Poomsae come to an end, they both selected the same form, which we rarely see in this event.
That's
so they
very
both
cool.
performed
Different little
back.
twist on it.
I think Miles is from the Ellickson's competition team, so they've got some history there. Very good quality. Thank you. Great support. Great job from both of these athletes.
Okay. Congratulations, Lily McGuire, on winning that. Fantastic kata on display.
Yep.
Give a little props to her team, of course.
Team Revolution.
Sporting a new uniform.
Yes.
Formerly
Right.
a member of Kick Team, now representing Team Revolution. That was a change over the offseason.
There are moves being made all the time. Of course, this is the first kickoff of the NASCA season 2025 edition, and we see that moves have been made you see what competitors have really been working on in the quote-unquote time off. You know, what have they been working? What craft have they been trying to get better at? So it's really good to see, you know, for this first event of the year.
Mary Amato giving out the awards tonight. I don't know that we mentioned her earlier. She is a former Team AK member, or I guess still Team
Yes.
AK member. I don't mean to say former, but world champion. Glad she's giving out the awards tonight.
Now we are going to be moving on to recognizing the future of our
Oh, I love it. Our mini cup winners from
Yes.
today. Awesome. If you guys don't mind, let me brag on these
Hey.
guys and girls. Is that
Go
cool?
for it. Go for it.
All right, I love it. Being able to, with not just ProMac, but being able to combine with some of these world events to help the underbelts and continue to work also with NASCA and make it better and more seamless and a better experience for the underbelts. These kids on stage are the future. They won the overall mini cups today. There was a few more winners that weren't able to make it tonight, but a lot of those competitors compete nationwide or different regions. They come to some of these events, and man, this audience is giving them the love. I
Yes.
love that. I love
Absolutely.
it. This stream, by the way, of them competing is on sportmartialarts.com and on the Warrior Cup page. So anybody at home that wants to see what these guys and girls did and support the underbelts, you can go back and watch that and share that stream. But we were really proud to help organize that. It was great. Attitudes, families were awesome. So congratulations to all of those mini cup winners.
And how cool of an idea is the mini cup in the first place?
It's
And
cool.
we've seen previous winners of the mini cup go on and win Warrior
Cups.
Cups
Yes.
as adult
Exactly.
competitors. Darren X.
Yeah, there you
now-
go. That's what I was going to
now
say.
known as Kareem Abdullah. He
Right.
goes out there and he won a Forms Mini Warrior Cup as an underbelt.
Yes.
And then he goes out and wins a
actual
sparring Warrior
Warrior
Cup
Cup.
as an adult. That's a crazy story.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, he's awesome. What a great athlete.
We move on to the Team Synchronized Grand Championship, a four-way showdown. Throughout the Team Synchronized divisions, you have the CMX, again, that's Creative, Musical, and Extreme Forms and Weapons as separate divisions, as well as the traditional forms and weapons. All four of those finalists going at it against one another. Now on stage, Team Paul Mitchell's Dawson Holt and Ben Jones representing the CMX Forms division.
Looks like the clean truth to me. I mean, I don't know if anybody
Very
keeps
good
up with
combination
podcasts.
of the nicknames of both competitors.
These two best friends and teammates do host a podcast together known as The Clean Truth. Wildly entertaining, just like their second.
Where can we find that?
Over on Sport Karate Zone, of course.
Right on.
There's another well-timed shameless plug.
I'm on it tonight. These
I
guys
wasn't going
are
to do it either.
awesome.
Joey got me into it.
No, I'm here to help everyone. I want to support and uplift everyone because that's how we grow. And these two young men are great examples of that, honestly. Not only are they two of the best in the sport at what they do, and they're great attitudes, they give back, they do seminars, they teach competitive edge camps, Paul Mitchell camps, and that was phenomenal. You know, on point, that talent shows. They grew up in the local and regional and national circuits, and now they're dominating here. So great job, guys.
You know, one thing I'd actually like to bring up, and it, you know, may not be true for some of the team members that are on here. They may actually be dojo mates. They may live close, but because of technology, you can actually train with your partner, for example, this in another country, and then you all meet up and go do this. It was almost impossible before because you would have to find time before the tournament to get together, get the timing down right. But you can do that over Zoom and other things, which we now see teammates getting together that live at opposite ends of the country, or like I said, in a different country, and then coming together and everything looks crisp.
No, it's super helpful. Jackson knows about that. He does 8 million private lessons with Zoom, so he knows about that life.
You got that professional Zoom package, don't you?
He does.
Here we've got a homegrown team, Team St. Louis. Dominic Lancaster and his sensei, Brett Thomason, working the Iku, or Oar.
Love it. These guys, being able to, again, just personal knowledge of being in the Memphis, Arkansas area, which also had a lot of St. Louis influence over the years, in Kentucky and Tennessee. These guys are right there from that Terry Kramer crop, and it's a direct result of his excellence. And these two, Dominic's kind of the next young gun that's now moved up into the adults and doing very well. Regionally, nationally, he's won multiple professional martial arts conference grand championships and other events as well. I like the fact that he goes everywhere. and show it fights, weapons, forms. And Brett is one of the best in the country at what he does, and is solid and a great official as well.
Yes, indeed. And, just to say a little bit about Terry Kramer, you mentioned before, getting the chance back in the day to be teammates with Terry Kramer, I mean, there wasn't a thing that you couldn't ask him that, if you were confused about something, you're kind of a younger competitor, not really been in the game that long, you could always go to a solid veteran like him and ask him, and he would always have an answer for you.
He's a pretty awesome guy. All right, great job to Dominic and Brett. That was great. Team St. Louis, Team Juan Con. What should we expect here, Jackson? What do you think? Oh, don't they normally have 3?
They sometimes do rock 3,
They
but
switch
today
it up.
we got 2.
Okay, all right.
The 2 today looks like Cameron Close and Amber Rutherford, sometimes joined by Caio da Silva, other times joined by Joey Castro, their sensei. Like you said, they like to mix it up a little bit.
Certainly so.
You can't go wrong with these 2. They are phenomenal.
So far in this division, we've seen the CMX forms. That was up first. We just watched the traditional weapons, now the traditional forms. And this, the signature kata of their sensei. Joey Castro won many titles.
You
with
better
this
believe
exact kata.
Joey Castro is out there watching right now. Shout out to Joey.
Joe, you watch the stream. You've got to comment on something, my man. You're checking it out.
And we know they're Team Juan-Con, but also representing Team Revolution as they turn to the back.
Team Revolution, usually you can find them at the side of the stages at a lot of finals or in sub-finals. Lots of energy cheering everyone on, not just their teammates typically. And Cannell, their coach, is definitely super positive and a great ambassador of the sport. So we appreciate his support at a lot of our events, but then also watching the fruits of his labors with trying to coach all these different athletes from different areas and perspectives and get them in that direction. So definitely a positive of the sport.
And one thing just to mention there, being a coach is exhausting. When you're a competitor, you're responsible for your division or divisions and, what you're supposed to do and everything else. And you'll go cheer on a team and everything. Cannell tries to be at every single ring for every single team member, and that's just hard. And if you think about it as well, if you win, that's great. Now, everybody on Team Revolution did not win this weekend. It's just statistically impossible. But while, you're happy for the winners and everything, the coach feels the loss of every competitor that does not achieve that goal and has to think of encouraging words to, say, hey, next time we're going to build off of this. We're going to keep things better. And by, of course, having that great positive attitude, you do see the rebound next time, the positive gains, even though you may have come just a little bit short on this, specific event.
These 2 are not coming up short.
No.
They're killing it.
You love that power on the slap kick there. A couple of front kicks right into the elbow. And that's one thing that is so great about this kata Yakuhachi Ho is that there's such evident power in all these movements. It really is a great form to show endurance. It's a long kata, as well as those moments where you really show off the power that you need to win with traditional going up against some of these extreme martial artists.
Well, they've certainly got a chance. That was outstanding. Great job, guys.
We know the next team coming up will be Team Paul Mitchell for CMX Weapons, and Paul Mitchell got a little bit of a lucky draw here with having the first and the last position in this division.
Bookends.
Because Ben Jones is in both of these teams.
That's right.
So
Sometimes
we first saw him with Dawson Holt. Now Ben Jones takes the stage with Esteban Tremblay, competing against himself and the rest of the field tonight.
Definitely some MVP work going on there by Mr. Jones.
They choose to go a cappella and let their bow do the talking.
It doesn't hurt your feelings any.
Nothing makes Jax Rudolph happy like a good bow form, and this is one of them.
Well, these guys are always in the mix or on top of the mix, I should say, definitely, and they don't make many mistakes. So this should continue to be outstanding.
Don't jinx him, Joey.
No, I know. As I was saying that, I'm like, oh.
And they stick the double spin at the end. Esteban Tremblay, Ben Jones, nailing their synchronized weapons form. And it's rare that we get this type of a matchup for the judges to have to pick between, where it's literally every possible discipline of sport martial arts, within forms and weapons, of course, Well, let's make them spar. Let's throw that in there. But
You know what?
anyway.
Hey, now I'm talking. Let's go. Let's
We're
go
gonna
do
do
that.
synchronized sparring.
New division.
One thing's for sure, I would not want to be in a judge's chair right now. It's so hard. It's like apples to oranges to bananas to grapes up there.
I say it, I think every broadcast. I love officiating, whether I'm good or bad. I absolutely love it. But these moments in the finals, I actually prefer to be over here talking about it and not up there. I mean, there are some events where that is where I am, and I'm like, you know what? I wish I was back there running my mouth because it's much easier than having to make the real decision on this. But for that conversation, what do we think here? I mean, nobody really messed up.
No.
Those are
So,
pretty sharp.
Once again, makes it
Right?
very tough to be in those seats right over there for those judges.
Right.
And what I always say is when you're
Okay.
making these comparisons between styles that are so different, you almost have to compare it to the totality of everything you've seen as a judge.
Right.
Out of that specific extreme synchronized form compared to all the other extreme synchronized forms that I've seen, how good was it? And within each of those scales, whichever of these performances is highest on their respective scale should be the winner. That's the way I like to think about it.
Power, speed, balance, control, technique, quality, showmanship, all those attributes. But now you've got everything. That's a hard call. I know. What do you think? Who's your winner? I'm
You know
gonna put
what?
you on the
If
spot.
I've got to pick, I'm going to go John Paul Mitchell Weapons at the last
You think
performance.
weapons? What do you
Yes.
think? You're not
One
gonna
of the
tell
Paul
me.
Mitchell teams.
Oh well, okay, all right.
Shocker.
Not really fair for Jackson. I get a little bit of, all right. I got to give you some slack there. Okay, all right.
Full disclosure for those at home, I was a member of Team Paul Mitchell, one of the coaches of Team Paul Mitchell now. So I try to keep it out of my commentary about the proceedings. But if you're going to make me make picks,
Right, it's tough.
you know who I pick.
No, I know. You can't. It's tough to say anything else, right? I understand. Yeah, well, they're usually at the top of their game. I mean, that's why they're on that team. That is part of the quota, I do believe. But all of these athletes are world class. All of them are at the top of their game. So yeah, that is a tough call to make for these judges. So
And I will say, formidable competition tonight. Those are two very, very good traditional teams in what Revolution brought out with Cameron Close and Amber Rutherford, as well as Team St. Louis with Brett Thomas and Dominic Lancaster. There is a ton of talent on stage right now.
Right.
And the other factor, we talked about how like everything on its respective scale, sometimes you get a judge that tends to lean a little traditional or
Yes.
a judge that leans a little extreme, and that could be a factor.
what do they like, or what weapon do they like or not like?
Exactly.
You know, they're like, oh, that wasn't, I mean, you do get it. Having said that, though, I don't think we announced the forms and weapons judges, but in this scenario, I mean, you still can have people that lean a certain way or feel like something was better.
Right.
Especially a weapon might be considered more difficult.
Right.
Because they can drop it and they have to manipulate it, right? But we've got a great panel. I mean, you have Vito Rodriguez from Texas, Vinny Scarduzio, a former world champion, Muhammad Johan Vash, Mike McCoy, Mike Sawyer, Holly Perry. I know her. Wow. Yeah, she likes me. That's what's important. Wayne Cornelius and David Pram also jumping in if anybody has any team conflicts or anything like that. So I went through that rather quickly here as we wait on these scores, but those are all super high quality judges. A few of them are NASCA World Tour promoters, but for those at home that, there's always talk about the judges and the grants. This weekend was one of those weekends where the finals and what you're seeing right now is a great diverse group of officials off that list. You have a few, what we would say OG NASCA
right.
World Tour promoters there, but that's great. You want that. And then you have, somebody like Holly, somebody like Vito, who have been around since they, forever, dozens of years, but they're still in that next generation. They promote events, they officiate all the time. And then Vincent being put on the panel tonight, I think was kind of an ace. I love that. So everybody at home listening, if you're a sport karate person and you know what I'm talking about, that's a cool, diverse panel for forms and weapons. So I really look forward to seeing what the results are for the rest of the night on that. There we go. Look at that.
Wow. Hey,
awesome.
you know what? Whiff for me. Whiff for both of us.
Nice.
Swing and a miss.
And congratulations to Team
Absolutely.
One representing Team
Well
Revolution.
deserved.
Like we said, this division literally could have gone any way, and they come out on top with a fantastic traditional kata.
Yeah, and sometimes your favorites are going to be like, whatever the betting odd favorites are, so to speak, in that terminology.
You're betting on this, Joey?
No, I'm not. I would. I mean, hey, it's, everything within reason. But no, I'm not. But, the betting favorites, if you say, okay, who's probably the odds favorite, such like the polls you did on your social media, right?
We had some fan polls
That's
trying to
right.
predict which way things are going to go. I think everybody's bracket is busted this Warrior Cup.
It might
it's going to
be
be an
busted.
exciting evening of
Absolutely
competition.
cooked.
Might be busted, but it's fun to do that and project and guess, and it helps to build the sport. So I love seeing all that actually, you know. And in this right, that was a result of a diverse group of judges, and you never know what you're going to get. But who can argue with any of those choices? They were all great. That was awesome. And if they're not great, we'll say that. We're not going to say everybody's great,
Right,
but
right.
if they made it to the stage tonight, you can bet they're pretty great.
We now transition to our first Warrior Cup final of the evening, the Junior Weapons Warrior Cup. Your defending champion, Avery Presley, now on stage representing Team AKA, the hometown team, Adamas Račkauskas.
The Atom Bomb.
He has been on a tear with his nunchucks. I believe this will be his last tournament in the 13 and under division before he moves up to the 14 to 17 age group, using his size and power to his advantage, and some nice nunchuck tricks as well.
I've really enjoyed watching Adamas over the years, you know, growing up on the regional circuit, nationally, and making his way into the last few years, really being, for lack of a better term, or maybe it's the right term, a dominant presence in those age groups and making final after final and winning plenty of grands. Like, he does continue to get better, respectful young man. So I love to see that success.
And can we talk about the volume of releases in this form so far?
Yes.
We saw one under the shoulder there, like Ross Constam, a classic Team AKA
Yes.
member that's been on this stage before. But I mean, we're probably, 12, 13 releases in at this point? The
Yeah.
volume of difficulty here is crazy.
Just another step up to show you what we've been cooking up over the holidays from the last tournament to this one.
And he just keeps going, release after release. Oh, and an unfortunate stumble on the full.
I
He
think
might
he
have
might
hurt
have hurt
himself a little
himself,
bit there.
unfortunately.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
he's going to
You hate
step
to
off.
see that.
Yeah, well,
Unfortunate landing on the full
yeah.
twist there. Hard to
Yeah,
tell if it was
that's-
a knee or an ankle. No need to speculate. But
Right.
hoping him a quick recovery regardless.
yeah, he will. Tough kiddo. All right, and they've got their staff back there to help Adamas. So the continuation of the show will move forward. Madeline Wiersma, another young competitor who has grown up in the sport and is now certainly world class. One of the top young athletes. Great attitude, great support base. So she's got a good mix of a lot of former female top world champions that I've watched also grow up and then retire. So, she kind of embodies a lot of the past to me.
I've always wondered, especially with a lot of our younger competitors, especially the technology and the streaming and everything that's going on right now, is that this is publicly available and it's free for anyone who wants to tune in.
Yes.
And of course, their classmates, they're probably teachers. They come across like, hey, wow, I didn't know that this person does this. Whereas before, you had to either be in the sport or hear about it or maybe catch a videotape that somebody did. But this is publicly available, and these young athletes are out there and doing things like this. And of course, like I said, they have their own individual socials. It's out there for people to see. So I wonder what their classmates are thinking when they see something like this.
That's got to be pretty cool, to be honest with you.
They've got to be impressed as Maddie Wiersma here off to a good start. We talk about some of her coaches, among them the great Kalman Choka, no stranger to the Warrior Cup stage. And I can't help but talk about the last time that we saw a female student of Kalman Choka in a Warrior Cup final. Audrey Donahue was winning the Warrior Cup.
Oh, Audrey was so explosive in her height. When she had her moments, I was a fan of what she brought to the table. I agree.
Wiersma looking to carve out a legacy of her own with that
nice.
sword. You see some of the classic releases, a huge 360 technique there.
Carve out. I'm going to have to step up my putt game.
And Madeline, I think, the youngest competitor in this final. This is a 4-person final, and she is the youngest by far. And
A
is killing
360
it.
from
Nice.
behind the back.
Yeah.
As Maddie Wiersma wows the crowd in Chicago.
Look at that. Little Mackenzie Emery-esque grip there. I like it. Shout out to Mackenzie if she's watching or checks it out. Great job there as well. All right, awesome job, Maddie. You brought it. That's what we want. All right, and Judah's back.
We told you we would see him again.
If you've been here since the top of the show, you saw him win the 14-17 Boys Weapons Overall Grand Championship. That's how he qualified for this Warrior Cup final. We were talking about the betting odds earlier. There's a good chance Judah Sagawa is the favorite coming into it, despite the fact that he's going to be up against a defending champion, Avery Presley. They might be even at this point.
That's interesting. I wonder what Vegas would have said. Always a big open, right? Always, and it's always impressive.
And it'll be interesting with Judah doing such a difficult form to win the overall grand championship. Yeah. Is he going to give us something extra? Obviously, the difficulty that he's already shown us is Warrior Cup caliber, but for this special round of competition, is he going to give us a little extra?
Yes.
And are the judges going to be looking for it? Are they going to be asking for a little bit more from him?
I think the judges want, they want to bump up the difficulty and they want to see your best here.
You're going to be rewarded. I can guarantee you. This panel, just knowing who they are, I think if you go for it and you get it, like they're gonna reward you for that. And Judah's definitely not one to hold back unnecessarily. So I think this is just going to get a little bit more impressive here.
The signature triple box cutter into the Webster. And Judah Sagawa has done it. He nails the form once again, complete with all that difficulty. We talk about the sword tricks. I mean, he had a shuriken cutter in there as well. Essentially a backflip with 2 twists and 2 hook kicks coming through. It's a crazy trick. It's really the standard of difficulty in modern sport karate.
Yes.
And Judah nailed the form yet again within, what, half an hour of each other?
It's crazy. It's true. Yeah, great talent, great young man. So congrats on a great performance. Win or lose, congrats on a great performance there. That was great to see. And our last competitor of the division, she's back, again from Lebanon, Tennessee. I'm not sure we highlighted that earlier. Under the great Jason Warren, one of the best coaches in sport karate history. I said it.
Say it again.
He has a long list of high-level athletes, so come at me. All right, Avery Presley. I bet she's going to bring her A game here.
The defending champion. She would be the first female junior weapons competitor to go back-to-back that I'm aware of.
Might have to consult ChatGPT to see if we can improve that accuracy.
Zero gravity into that signature 540 kick to the knee spin.
Great combination. Looks so smooth.
Looks like it was a little reach for that bow, but she managed to grab it.
Still a clean catch. Yes. The full twist.
That ability to adjust. Sometimes the weapon goes a little bit farther than you expected, but to adjust on the fly, you can see perfectly demonstrated by Avery right there.
A blind release, and now it looks like Avery's going to set up one more trick for us. 1, 2 spins, and she misses. The defending champ missing the final catch of the form. A heartbreaker for Avery Presley.
Hey, Avery, great job, though.
You never know what, circumstances. It could be the stage. We've got lights in our eyes right here, but we don't know what it's like right there on the stage. You've got to light the stage. It could be a distraction.
Actually, somebody might know what that's like.
I don't know who. Could we find someone?
I've been up there a few times, but I can't speak. Jackson's been up there 8 million times performing. I've been up there 8 million times officiating, but that's a different animal.
Yes.
I will say that the lights do add an additional consideration for these competitors on stage for these prestigious titles. You got to have it for the broadcast and for everything to look good, but it certainly does make it more difficult on the competitors to have those lights shining down in the path of the weapon releases. And for 2 competitors tonight, it's going to come down to one of the swords. Maddie Wiersma, Judah Sagawa, the unfortunate injury to Adamas Vachkauskas, and then, of course, the drop from Avery. It's going to be a Warrior Cup for sword tonight.
That's all right. The Samurais win the night. Yeah, awesome. I mean, great athletes, all 4 of them. And you don't even have to know what you're looking at to know that that was great. They were great athletes.
And as we do get a pan from our camera, you can see the exact size of this Warrior Cup. one of the challenges of winning the Warrior Cup is getting it home.
Oh, how do you get them home? They have to send
Shipping.
them to you?
Shipping.
They ship them to you. That's one of the great things about the AK Warrior Cup is when you win one, they do help you out with the shipping. But right now, guys, I'm trying to do math.
Okay.
Math is hard.
9.98, 98, 98, 98, 98, 98, and 9.98 for
All right, so 9-8 second place scores for Madeline Wiersma. Essentially, Judah will get the 9.99 scores, right? The first. That's fantastic.
A historic moment as Judah Sagawa of Team Freestyle, his first Warrior Cup championship.
Probably not the last, to be
No,
honest with
I
you.
will be willing to bet on that.
He's going to be in the mix. I tell you, the 14 to 17 black belt crop of athletes on both boys and girls is phenomenal right now. I love it. I love the talent in this school.
The future is in good hands, and a Warrior Cup will be on its way to San Diego and Team Freestyle as Judah gets his photo opportunity with Sensei Sharky, the man behind the tournament, as well as a huge shout out to Hunter Lyon. Without those two men, this event simply would not be possible.
There he is.
Yeah, that's great. They work so hard and treat people so well, and working with Hunter, on the admin side behind the scenes here is always great. He really loves the sport and wants things to be beautifully done for everyone. So I appreciate that. They're a great group, great team.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking about
That was
things we
awesome.
appreciate, in the wake of Judah Sagawa's first career Warrior Cup, let's talk about the amount of talent that Team Freestyle is able to put out.
Oh,
led
so
by
many.
Sensei Will Jackson, an
Yes.
incredible group they've got there. Turn it into a dance party, Joe?
Yeah.
It's dance party for Joe.
Look at Reed. I don't know
Oh,
if
is
he's
Reed up there dancing? Let's get the camera on Reed if Reed's dancing.
He's not dancing.
Nah,
He's not
Reed-
bringing
Reed
it. I'm
does
bringing
dance.
it. These guys. We're having a good time. So hopefully at home you're having a good time. Hopefully you've been sharing this with friends and family. Support these athletes.
That's a good time for a segue. We need to check in on the comment section here to see what people are saying because we're going to be fully interactive, and I'm going to leave that to just Joe Perry.
Well, let's see. I think you guys, if you're watching this on the American Karate Association YouTube channel, of course, you can comment there. And then, of course, we've got a lot of our other social media tips. So if you're watching there and you want to comment on Facebook or Instagram, do so. Hit us up. We'd love to hear what you think about different results. But the YouTube channel and the YouTube stream, obviously, that you're watching, if you're able to comment and watch, please do so.
And for now, we have the beginning of the Adult Weapons Warrior Cup Final. Back-to-back Warrior Cup Finals here in the show. Our first competitor representing the 30 and over age group, Samuel Diaz III of Team Paul Mitchell, bringing out the traditional kama.
And do not let that age fool you.
Samuel Diaz was on fire this weekend as a 30-plus competitor needing to make it through his own grand championship, traditional versus extreme, as well as then competing against the women's representative from the senior division to make it all the way for this chance to compete against the young guns in the Warrior Cup Final.
Yeah, Sam always, it's consistency, and I say that a lot about, certain athletes, but that makes so much difference, being consistent and with your training and your habits and what you're doing and how you're performing. He's an old soul. He's not really that old. He's really not that old.
You
But
certainly wouldn't think so with that spinning sidekick.
No,
Beautifully
no,
executed
it's
at the end of the floor.
Man, he's a great athlete, a great guy, a humble guy, and a great martial artist. Great job, sir.
And a great leader. What a great spirit that we've got in the locker room, so to speak, of Team Paul Mitchell. He's always a great leader of our team and brings a lot of that veteran mentality that we need.
That goes a long way, my man.
Now taking the stage, also of Team Paul Mitchell, Haley Glass. We've seen some of our friends from the Royal Caribbean Cruise Line out recruiting this evening,
Yes.
looking at the talent. It's exactly how Haley Glass was discovered and became one of the headliners for the Royal Caribbean shows.
And I love the fact that they held some tryouts this weekend for those, and they're providing a nice little avenue if it's something that you would like to do. You know, get paid, and you get to go on a cruise ship. You get to go to all these beautiful islands, and you get paid to do it. It's a great, nice little notch to have on your resume if you want to. You know, that is something you want to pursue.
Oh, that's amazing. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, even watching the commercials and the highlights here hopefully inspires the next generation, you know, and watching Haley grow up and be the athlete she is, performer that she is, martial artist that she is, person that she is really, really great. So, you know, kudos to her for that. Hey, I checked in on the YouTube and on the YouTube, like the
YouTube.
internet,
Right,
you know, the
right.
YouTube.
The
Hey,
internet's.
Hey, we've got, I'm going to say some emojis. I'll give you guys some chat. I did with Jonathan and Andrew on there commenting. We appreciate you guys supporting. Hey, you guys talk about Quantum Ernie Reyes. Thank you for bringing him up. I know that was
Right.
on purpose. I appreciate
Right.
that respect. He deserves it. Definitely a forefather of what we're watching in many ways. And I have a personal connection there, so thanks, guys. But yeah, he's not as old as Ernie. That's right.
Haley Glass, the winner of the Women's Traditional Weapons Grand Championship. That's how she qualified for this Warrior Cup final. We often see her on stage with her kamas, but she is an expert with the sword as well, adding some music to her traditional sword form this evening, trying to get the edge for the Warrior Cup.
She's another one that can do it all. She can fight too.
Yes, you can.
A beautiful sword form
Wow.
from Haley Glass.
Great job, Haley. Always powerful, always dynamic. That's a great performance. And that music was pretty on point.
Yes. It
Very
really adds in it.
superhero-esque.
Yes. Speaking of that, you know,
I don't even know.
let's not forget that
Don't even
Haley got a little start in, if I remember right, Logan. Yes.
Logan, would that be a Wolverine movie?
That would be a Wolverine movie. Of course, not like the great Wolverine movie with Deadpool, but still a great start as playing one of the mutant kids out there. I'm pretty sure the acting bug did bite her then, and she says, you know what? I like performing. I like performing for this camera.
Well, we're better for it because she's awesome.
Very much so.
Dawson Holt now taking the stage in an interesting strategic decision. So once a competitor qualifies for the Warrior Cup final, it is no longer a North American Sport Karate Association sanctioned division.
Right.
That means that once you have your ticket to the final, you can choose to do any weapons form of your choosing if you're in the weapons final, of course, right?
Yep.
And so Dawson, who's known for his extreme sword form, the upset over 7-time Warrior Cup champion Jake Presley in the eliminations earlier today with traditional sword, instead of switching it up and going for the extreme sword form against his teammate Esteban Tremblay, who's going last in this division, he's opting to go traditional.
Well, he's phenomenal no matter what he does, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, so he knows that in the correct, confident way, you know. So if he's feeling this, then he definitely needs to go for it, and I like it.
And to defend the strategy, when you take down the man with this form, how do you not trust him?
How do you not, right? I mean, yeah, you know, I mean, Jake is phenomenal and amazing, and you know, today was Dawson's day, and he took it, and I feel that confidence. If I did that, I would be doing this as well, and we can see why this is so strong.
And a great battle and friendly rivalry between those two training partners, both under the tutelage of Jason Warren, as well as the Presley family as a whole. I know that Cole Presley has played a big part in Dawson Holt's career. Beautiful sidekick there. Just a really exciting weapons final, and so many different little strategic decisions that go into it.
It's pretty cool for us nerds. I like it.
One thing I love about watching Dawson's traditional sword is the power that he puts behind his cuts. You know, with a sword,
Yes.
you don't have to be powerful, right? It's a sword. It's going to slice through as long as you have accuracy and good technique. But it's kind of reminiscent of like a Stephen Graz and the way that he would come up on these NASCA stages and really just look vicious using the sword.
And there's a shout out to those that have been around for a while.
That's one for the karate nerds, Mallory.
High five, guys. Awesome, awesome job, Dawson Holt. That was beautiful, and we see exactly why he earned that win today.
Holt looking to become the first men's Warrior Cup weapons champion to do it with traditional sword since Shaheen Jahanvi.
We're going to see them next month at the Compete Internationals in Los Angeles. Looking forward to going out there and enjoying that event, as always, next month. I think that's, what, the third weekend in February?
I think that's correct.
Now taking the stage, Caitlin Vong of Team CBR, of course, short for the great Christine Bannon Rodriguez, the head coach of that team.
Lady
And
Lightning.
right off the bat, a beautiful sidekick from Caitlin Vong.
Almost goes without saying. If you know Caitlin Vong, you've ever watched, you're like, yep, that's a beautiful sidekick. Like it's right beside her name in the book. Love it.
You know, actually getting a chance to train with her not too long ago. Not only is she fantastic at forms of weapon, but she likes to fight as well.
Yes.
Which was great, you know, great to see. I had just seen her at a different tournament and walked in the dojo. We were going to Friends Dojo that Sunday, and she was there. And man, she was just like, hey, let's do 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 rounds. Let's just go. Fantastic competitor all around.
I love it. That's a beast.
How about that? Both ladies in this Warrior Cup weapons final willing to go out there and duke it out with the gloves on in the sparring division.
You know, the gloves might have been optional. I kept mine on. I'm just saying. Full disclosure.
She's ready to hook kick you in the face. Man. Love it.
Very solid performance from Caitlin Vong. Clean kama cuts,
Yes.
clean kicks. Very skilled competitor.
Yeah, she is always on point. So it doesn't matter what style or where you come from, you watch her and you know that's quality technique typically. So great job, Caitlin. Somebody mentioned earlier Haley Glass, and they mentioned Alex Mencius as being part of the Cobra Kai, you know, from this last season. So yeah, hey, absolutely, shout out to them for that as well, and that connection. That's right. Thank you for our pop culture geeks watching with us. We're trying to pull Jackson along with that. You know, Mallory and I are little
We're all
super
over
geeks.
And Esteban
Ooh.
Tremblay, as he takes the stage, a long glance at the Warrior Cup's lined up stage side.
I mean,
He has been
just wanted to
chasing a
bring
weapons
that.
cup for a long time.
He's trying to bring that essence, that energy, right?
He is a Forms Warrior Cup champion from back in 2023. He'll also be in the Forms Warrior Cup final tonight, but he really wants a weapons Warrior Cup.
Well, the young man's been on fire the last few years and wins all over the place. So I don't know what the betting odds favorite here. Be him to close this particular show division. I'm not asking Jackson. I know what he's voting. He's got a problem. He has 4 out of 5 here.
Going a cappella once again is Esteban Tremblay trying to show off his power and speed. And then, of course, the difficulty. 360 zero gravity right into the corkscrew, manipulating the bow through the tricking combo, and the double spin to finish.
Beautiful. Nice flow, not choppy at all. Just 1, 2, 3, 4. You're right. You know, and the techniques there, even if you don't know what you're looking at, you understand if something is fluid, if it's, you know, smooth, or if it's choppy, or if it's powerful. So, you know, even just breaking what we're watching down really simplistically, think about it from those terms. You can tell.
And if you slow that last segment down, he passed the bow behind his back.
Amazing.
During that.
Between the legs during the hyper full, and then adjusts his hair in the middle of the releases here.
A staple of his.
And a Webster catch for Esteban Tremblay to bring an end to the Adult Weapons Warrior Cup final, seeking his first win in this division.
Not entertained.
I do feel some Maximus energy right there. Are you not entertained?
He should say that. It'd be with that really cool Canadian accent he has, right? Air Canada right there. Love it.
Once
Great
again,
job.
the people that are in trouble right now are those that are sitting in those judge chairs.
Yeah. Oh, hey.
Absolutely. And what a matchup.
Love
We
it.
start the finals with 3 consecutive bladed traditional weapons performances.
Yep.
Samuel Diaz with the kamas, then Haley and Dawson battling it out with the traditional sword, followed by, we get to transition to the CMX with Caitlin Vong and her extreme kamas, and then Esteban Tremblay rounding out the division. Another division where we're getting a little bit of everything, which is exactly what the Warrior Cup is meant for.
We got Party
We've got
Joe Perry.
another dance party.
There we go.
Mallory and Jackson just stressing out about what the math's going to be.
Right.
Joey's just vibing. We love
I'm
it.
vibing. Let's go. Let's go. Having a good time. I love it.
And no man, no serious, more serious
Yeah.
built than Sam right there.
Look at that. Love that. What a great group. That's not a problem, but a thing with this. Like, how can you can't really go wrong. Everybody was pretty great.
9.96.
So 9.96 and 9.95 across the board for Samuel Diaz.
9.95.
Again, those big scores we're looking at. Typically in the winner's circle, we're looking for where the 7s, the 8s, and especially the 9s go. The 9s are what you need to get the W.
Everybody was great, but everyone's not the winner.
That's true.
There's going to be one winner.
And you've got to save your top score. If you're a judge, you're saving your top score for whom you thought was the best.
Yeah, this is a super hard type of category to judge. You love to see it,
Right.
right? You love to see it because it's amazing to watch. But you're, little, not really apples to oranges, but a little bit of that, the differential. But that's what's really cool and special about it.
And Haley getting a few 9.98s
Yes.
there, meaning that she beat out some of the guys
Yeah.
according to the
Yes, she
judges.
did.
We
Yes,
love
she
to
did.
see it.
As she should have.
9.99.
Yeah,
9 for Dawson Holt.
There's another 9.
2 9s.
9.97.
Looks like it's just going to be the 2 9s for Dawson Holt,
Wow.
which means if he wants a shot, Caitlin Vong is going to need to steal some from
Ooh,
Esteban to
that's
make the
right.
math interesting.
That's right.
Oh, no. She was really clean. I mean, so does the judge prefer that over the bow?
9.96.
Doesn't appear so. So
Caitlin Vong unable to pull any of those 9s, which means that I believe the math comes out to 5 judges picking Esteban Tremblay for the win. The last set of scores of formality before Tremblay is crowned champion.
wow. What a great performance. I mean, everyone a great job. Kudos. Esteban definitely brought it.
And you see the emotion there. What a beautiful moment as Esteban Tremblay, known his whole life as a weapons competitor, surprised everybody with a Forms Cup, and now his career, his life's work comes to fruition with a Weapons Warrior Cup.
Well said. That I knew you would know. Because you more than we do know that history with that young man. I love competing against his father back in the day, who still competes because he's amazing. And Esteban has just taken it to another level. The next generation is always better.
Couple of tears being shed in the photo op there for Esteban. I'm
great.
sure he's okay with that.
Yeah, that's great.
And the crazy thing, he's got another Warrior Cup final to go and get ready for. We're going to see him again in form, trying to do the nearly impossible of winning 2 Warrior Cups in one evening. Now, that is a real possibility.
Right. We're going to hear from our friends at Royal Caribbean.
All right. We have had an excellent.
And gentlemen,
Guess what?
is it time to fight?
It is time to fight.
Ready for some fights?
I cracked my knuckles, but no one could hear it.
I said, are you guys ready for some fights?
I know we've talked about me being a weapons competitor and being on this stage for that, but there is nothing in this world I love more than calling some point fighting action. This is so exciting. It's high speed, and for those of you that have never seen point sparring before, what we're going to be looking for is the first athlete to land a clean technique. This is a game of speed and execution. Punching techniques or any technique that lands with the hand is worth 1 point. You might see a back fist or a ridge hand mixed in there as well. Kicks are worth 2 points unless it is a jump spinning kick to the head worth 3 points.
And you can see those. Don't think that those are out of play here.
I love it. Hey, and by the way, our officiating crew, if I'm correct, we have Nick Kane, who's one of the best judges in the country, in my opinion, from the Northeast. Phenomenal young judge, works so hard. Of course, Holly Perry, a little biased towards her, but she is a phenomenal official, takes charge, knows the rules, knows procedures, is a boss. And we have a couple of alternates with Vito Rodriguez is up there now. Judge, he's from Texas, a former world champion fighter, still fights, plays the game, has a lot of active fighters on top teams, including Paul Mitchell, for that matter. So these judges know what they're doing. Let's see how this fight goes.
Our first matchup in the semifinals for the Warrior Cup will feature the heavyweight overall grand champion in Avery Plowden, a 4-time Warrior Cup winner, against the lightweight overall grand champion who has been red hot this weekend, just like his helmet, Tyson Ray.
I love this fight. Both of these fighters are great. Different generations, right? You know, you got a different generation through, but world class. Tyson's such a great young fighter for many, many years. Love his father, great respect, great coach, obviously. And Plowden, I don't know how many accolades we can give them because they are just legendary.
Is it showing my age at all that I remember when Tyson Ray was born, being teammates with his father, Jesse Ray? Maybe I'm dating myself just a bit.
Ray slides in a sidekick for 2 and then scores with his hands for a 3-1 advantage, an early lead on the 4-time champ.
1 point Ray scores 4-1.
Oh, and Plowden comes in with the step in immediately. Nice catch.
And Avery is so good at that. As soon as somebody starts to go on a run, he always has the answer with a body punch or a sidekick, one of those foundational techniques. You can never really run away from this guy.
And you can tell the strategy right there from Avery. He's always thinking, you know, you may get 1 point in, but he's going to get 1 back or 2 back. This is probably how he practices things in the courtroom as he is a full-time attorney.
He is a brilliant mind. Comic book fan, by the way.
Yes,
awesome.
he is.
Shout out Avery.
Likes to think of himself as Daredevil, who is also an attorney. I hear he's a very good lawyer.
He's a very good lawyer.
Sidekick attempt from Plowden doesn't quite connect. You need 2 out of 3 judges to call it to get the points. He connects on that one to tie it at 4, and then Ray gets the lead right back, 5-4.
And Plowden says, give me that back. And let's see. Looks like they didn't officially begin.
Wow, I mean, obviously the front angle of the fights here that everybody's watching, but the step in, the reach, you could tell. I mean, Plowden's reach with his timing with the step in is great. I mean, Tyson's got great length as well. He's just a little shorter, right? Obviously a lighter weight fighter. You would think maybe faster, but I hesitate to say people are faster than Mr. Plowden, right? I mean, I don't know how you want to quantify that, right? But, I mean, both of these guys are lightning. But I'll really, hopefully at home, especially people knowing what they were looking at, you know, watching those step-ins, as we mentioned, and the timing of that, you know, if you really are looking at that footwork and the timing in this game,
yes,
that's pretty legit.
They have a quick medical timeout for Tyson Ray to be assessed. Looks like something happened with his shoulder on that previous exchange. This is a semi-contact sport, so there's no full contact. This is not a knockout sport. And so if there is an injury, there's an opportunity to assess it for a set time limit, and then the fighter can come back to action. Again, it's all about speed and technique, not about power.
A little bit of power.
A little
bit of power.
The final 15 seconds here. Avery looks like had the mouthpiece come out.
Time didn't
they
stop.
Reset, nobody scored.
Tasty.
Plowden frustrated that they didn't call that back fist. A little bit of confusion here at the end of the match.
Let's see.
Center referee going to put some time back on the clock, it seems.
Maybe 2 seconds? Oh, no, 5 seconds.
And Ray scores. We might be on the verge of a huge upset here.
Yeah, it looks like the timekeeper is trying to make sure they had the right time on the clock, but there was 6 to 7 seconds added there.
But unfortunately, Tyson scored during that, so now instead of 1 point, it's 2 points.
Yes, that's right.
Looks like there's a little disagreement about where the line is. Tyson showing his dad's technique by going underneath the leg.
Right.
Yes.
Nice. Wow. Wow. Wow.
So an unusual ending in the closing moments, but that does not change the fact Tyson Ray, who has been hot all weekend long, makes his run through the lightweights, makes it to the Warrior Cup semifinals against a 4-time champ, David versus Goliath, and yet again, David is the winner.
Congratulations Tyson. That is a huge win, and respectfully, Mr. Plowden giving him love and stuff. I mean, that was a great fight, you know, and a couple of points. But that's point fighting. You know, we're not knocking each other out. You know, it's not full contact. So a lot of the points and the speed and the way, the angles and where you're standing, or in this case, where the camera is and the viewpoint that we have, the judges, even 6 inches away, you see it completely different, or you didn't see it. You know,
And that's
so.
one thing you got to give Avery a lot of credit for, is with some of the timekeeping confusion that happened at the end of that bout, a lot of fighters would not have handled it as professionally
That's true.
as
Right.
we just saw Avery
That's
Plowden do. So you got to tip your cap for that type of martial arts respect being shown. But now on stage, for the other semifinal matchup, we have our senior 30 and over age group sparring champion Brian Rodriguez in the green uniform up against Kevin Walker, who was the runner-up of the open weight division that was won by Alex Mancias. But unfortunately, Alex Mancias suffered a concussion during that bout despite the win, was unable to continue fighting this weekend. And so in his place, Kevin Walker gets the call up. And by the way, in that final fight of the open weight, went to overtime. So this is a guy that was right there till the very end of that division.
It could have
One
went
point
either
away.
way.
He's 1 point
I
away.
watched the fight and was calling it along with the judges on video, and man, that could have went either way. So yeah, no, he's more than deserving, obviously.
You've got Rodriguez in the green uniform, Kevin Walker with the red headgear, and in the purple uniform. Looks like Brian coming out with some fancy footwork there, some kicks. Great side kick, but I don't think, no, the majority of judges did not call that.
The judges
It
have
didn't
to be
stop
an
it.
angle to see it.
That's true. And let me just say this also. Points that are not called don't mean they don't hurt. Okay?
Right.
I will tell you that right now.
Right. Anybody that's ever sparred understands that.
You know, just because you didn't get those judges, you look across the ring like, yeah, I got you, didn't I?
Like, those
yeah,
ribs
you
feel
did.
good.
Kevin Walker, also a former Warrior Cup champion 9 years ago. He won a Warrior Cup. This would be an amazing story for him to come back nearly a decade later as he's up 1-0 and win a second Warrior Cup.
And really, during that time when he won, he was comparing to his instructor, Mr. Tony Young, who won also one of the few super lightweights to ever capture that title.
I love Tony Young. Great master instructor out of Atlanta area, by the way. So shout out, Master Young.
Walker with an early 2-0 lead. Doing a really good job of moving and maintaining his range from Rodriguez.
And
Walker thought that should have been an exit
yes,
there, Mallory.
what he was complaining about is that if you exit the ring, without fighting out, it is going to be a point the other side. And of course, Walker with that excellent movement just made Brian just get up going skates outside the ring. He was complaining for the point.
That's
didn't
what I
get
was
it.
going to ask in that moment, because of the movement of the fighter and the going out. I mean, as an official,
How do you
it's
call
not
it? Yes.
black and white
Yes.
because it's in the moment based on what they did. So although they may have stepped on that out of bounds line, what happened?
Right. Was that an intentional exit, or was that due to momentum? Looks
Right.
like Brian got 1 point there. There are 3 seconds to go. Walker's going to back on up, let time expire. Brian, unless he threw a 360 hook kick, which you're not going to catch Kevin Walker, unless he's sleep medicated and some other things there, you're not going to catch him with that.
And
Just
Kevin
to put it in
Walker,
perspective.
a beautiful display of use of the ring as well as fight management throughout that round. He got himself a little bit of a lead. He nursed that lead all the way to the end. He goes up 3, he goes up 4. Next thing you know, there's a few seconds left and there's no time
There's
to
no
land
time
a
left.
technique.
Yeah, obviously one of the most intelligent fighters in the game with so much experience, right? And his ability, what he brings, that length and his kicking ability, it keeps people at bay so much as a fighter. Absolutely. You know, because at any point in time, he's gonna, you're gonna get blasted, right? So
This is not only a game of speed, but also of distance. Being able to reach your opponent, understanding how long their legs are, understanding their arm length. This is when it really gets, tricky, because some people's arms are longer than they can kick.
Right.
So, but you have to know that. You've got 2 minutes to figure that out. Maybe he was well scouted before, and these guys fight all the time. So there's calculation after recalculation that's going on, and the same thing with our 2 ladies that are coming on right here. The first thing that you will see, obviously, for Yahima right here in the red-black is that she's shorter than Katarina. Katarina is 80% legs. Okay, so let's just say that right now, and she will be dropping those axe kicks. You know that going in. So your job is to cut angles, be the pest, get on the inside, deliver deliver body shots. And then when maybe Katarina comes in for a blitz, that's when you unleash your legs. Or at least that's what I think the plan would be if I were in this situation going in.
So Katarina Herman of Team Paul Mitchell in the black, white, and yellow uniform. The red on your screen. Jimena Janeiro in the black and green of Team Revolution. And for Katie Herman, we're looking out for those kicks. She's going to try to use that leg to keep Jimena back the entire time. This is for the NASCA Overall Sparring Grand Championship as well as the coveted Warrior Cup.
In this match, we've got Vito Rodriguez in the front corner and Brett Thomason out of St. Louis in the burgundy suit there in the opposite, and Nick Kane running center. So you have three phenomenally talented and experienced officials here.
And see
Nice kick for Herman as Jimena's on the run.
With this, you know those kicks are coming. And you're not going to be able to dip, dodge, and dive out of the way all those kicks. So you know you're going to surrender them. But the question, the strategy is not to give up too many points. And Jimena's doing a great job there, staying on the outside. It's just that it's really difficult to do it. You've got to be very mobile.
She's so
Great block.
fast, but Katarina's reach and
Right.
timing. I mean, she's not just tall. She's not just long. She's got so much skill with that kicking.
And out there in Canada working with the great Nashes, both Trevor Nash, and you throw Chelsea Nash in there too, who's got a couple Warrior Cups, and of course Casey Nash that's out there. All of that equals is a very talented fighter, of course.
For the Warrior Cup, it'll be 2 2-minute rounds, and so you might see the fighters pacing themselves a little bit. Of course, Katie Herman now with a 4-point lead, content to kind of coast through the end of this round. Jimena going to be trying to figure something out that might give her some confidence going into round 2. And you see her reaching for that leg. She's got to try to
Nice
find
back.
something.
There's the angle. That was the angle right there. Oh, but she didn't get the point. Oh, unfortunate.
Oh, hey, but that's a good example of where you're standing as an official when
Yes.
that happens, because these officials aren't going to call something they don't see.
It was a fighter that once told me, you have to turn the judges so that they could see that.
You have
A
to
guy
work
that
it?
probably knew what he's talking about, Raymond Daniels.
Oh, a little bit?
Might have heard of him.
A little. Great first round. Great first round with those ladies. I mean, I score 4-0, so you could say whatever, but, the movement and how hard is it to get in on Katarina, right?
The challenge is that she's got such a talented, her front, leg is really hard. I would, for fighters, facing fighters like that, one of the things you saw him reaching for that foot, I would disrupt, I would start to grab at it, paw at it, push the ankle to the opposite sides, go around her back. Be a pest. Absolutely get in there, go underneath the leg, cut different angles. You want to be that little buzzing bee. You want to be in, out, in, out, in, out. And once you start to pick up momentum, you build off that. All you need is one to start. It's just like NBA players that go on a hot streak.
Right.
You make one. Okay, great. Now you've made two. Now you hit that three. Now you hit that three, get fouled. Boom. You got, and that momentum starts to build. So I will say this. Momentum is not loyal. It can easily be shifted over to the other side.
And Jimena so far in this match has done a great job of using the perimeter, but she's got to have a little bit more volume coming off of that, more fakes, more sharp steps with that lateral movement, simply staying on the outside. Katarina Herman, a 2-time defending Warrior Cup champion, is not going to give you enough opportunities like that one to take off an attack.
Right.
Nice job.
So look at that. You've cut the lead down by a fourth. So let's give yourself credit,
She's a world-class fighter. I mean, her being able to come
There it is
back
right there.
here is
Mallory
right
calls
up
There it
There's
is right
the
there.
duck under.
Yep.
Katarina,
come on.
good job. She blocked it. Good job of blocking
Yes,
it
she
by
did.
Katarina. But a good call by Mallory Woods to call the under the leg. We'll see if she goes back to it.
The other thing is that it's like when you use that, it's like, okay, that's burned for a while. You just can't go back, keep going to the well, because Katarina will stop, block, and just drop hammer fist on your head.
Right.
So
Your
now
timing's
your
over.
timing's over. Now you got. I need something new. I need something new. I got to do something new.
Yeah. Love it. She does need to start, to work some angles and do something. She's got to mix it up now. She's unfortunately going to run out of time here.
We're getting back to that rhythm that favors Katie Herman, where Jimena's kind of staying around the outside,
Right.
not enough volume of fakes like that right there. She needs to continue that movement so that Katie can't just stand there and hold the leg up and kick, which, in her defense, Katarina's doing a great job of. So
Great blitz.
That's all she should do. I
Right.
mean, it's what you're taking what you're given, and a master at that.
And the thing is that most people are like, oh, you know, hey, this doesn't look so hard. Let me just tell you right now, if you were to try to step in there, you're going to see the bottom of that century gear that Katarina is kicking with.
When you wake up.
We've got a one-clash match
That's
with
true.
just under 30 seconds remaining. Jimenez one kick away from tying the score.
And look at that, faking, taking angles, deciding, moving. And you're allowed to grab for 1 second according to NASCAR rules. Use that, pull her into you.
15 seconds. All she's got to do is land a kick.
That's true.
360.
Here's
to
a
the face.
punch. Did she get it?
Yes, no.
No, 6 seconds ago. You got to go for broke. Go for broke.
She needs to get off the line now. Oh.
Go for broke.
Time will expire with a 2-point lead for Katarina Herman. We are hearing a lot of discontent from the Team Revolution
The
faithful.
birds are flying.
Well, I like an active crowd.
Yes.
In the way of like, oh, you know, they want their fighter to win or they want their person to win or whatever. Right. It's like, oh, come on, you know, we want her to win or whatever. Oh, you could have got that point. As long as it doesn't go too much. You know, this has been okay. This is cool. I like the energy, you know, thus far.
Katarina Herman, now a 3-time Warrior Cup champion.
Wow.
Did a beautiful job in that bout of controlling the ring with her kicks, keeping her opponent at bay. A deserving 3-time champion of this incredible Warrior Cup.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Great technique, great timing. Did what she needed to do. Didn't get in a rush. I mean, she lets the fight come to her. And honestly, with her size and ability, that's masterclass. You know, I love it.
When you have a champion that's this dominant, you have to construct a blueprint.
Yeah.
You know, you really have to. And the great thing also, and again about the digital age, is there's plenty of footage that's out there. So young ladies that are out there, she's in your way, homework. It can be done. It absolutely can be done. But the work is going to need to be put in.
That's right.
And ultimately, the mark of a great point fighter is the variety of skills that you can come out with.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, if you find yourself in one of these big fights and you don't have a backup plan you can go to, if there's not a strategy adjustment that you can make in that 1-minute break between rounds, it's going to be a long day for you. And that's one thing. We didn't get to see much of it in this fight because her strategy was so dependent on the kicking, as it should be, because she's world-class.
Correct.
But Katarina Herman has also added a great blitz to her game as well. I wish we could have seen it on more display there.
She didn't need it this time.
Obviously, everything still turned out all right for her.
Little Nikki Carlson-Lee, yes.
Yes, very much. Oh, man. If you could pluck a fighter from the air and another fighter.
I pulled that one out,
Oh,
right?
man. What would have been great to see Nikki and Katarina Herman go at?
It would be
about the same
amazing to
size.
see them.
Oh,
They should get together, to be honest with you. Absolutely.
From one Warrior Cup final to the next, you just saw them in the semifinals. If you've been staying with us, we've got Kevin Walker of Team Straight Up against Tyson Ray in the white uniform of Team Next Level.
Tyson Ray trying to go for his first Warrior Cup right here.
Getting some clarification from center referee Holly Perry on the exact starting point out of bounds markers. Want to be sure that both fighters are abundantly aware of those boundaries.
Very much so.
I happen to know that she won't play many games with that. She will ask them to do it correctly.
2 2-minute rounds for the Warrior Cup. Will it be a return to glory 9 years after Kevin Walker's first cup, or will Tyson Ray claim his first Warrior Cup title? Jumping back fist for Ray, lands on the back of Walker, but did the back fist connect? No call.
Look like it, no. It's close. Hey guys, on YouTube, we do appreciate, we give you guys a shout out, even commenting, we really appreciate all that. Yeah, Jackson is on point most of the time. He's the man.
Thank you guys at home, I appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly, we love it. And I mean, you can't go wrong here. I've got Mallory Woods, the voice of the sport, and an expert in so many ways, and Jackson. So hopefully you guys are enjoying our contribution to your night and you're enjoying the action that we're showing you. Thank you for participating and
Very much so.
being
Thank you.
funny, silly, love, positivity. That's what's up. So thank you. All right, on the mat, obviously, Mr. Ray, Mr. Walker, to the sport's best.
And again, with 2 rounds, you typically see fighters feel each other out, pace themselves a little bit in the opening round, working the fakes. And when they're working those fakes, they're collecting data.
Yes.
They're seeing what the other fighter's going to respond to. And Walker capitalizes on the counterattack there.
So fast.
It's rarely a boat race, you know, that first round. Like you said, what does he do when I do this? Okay, great, foul that away. What does he do when I do this? Okay, foul that away. That's going to go Tyson's way, though.
Nice quick back fist for Ray. Tries to get the jump. Ollie Perry didn't say go yet. It's the karate equivalent of a false start.
There's always a little slight edge trying to be obtained.
Well, as he threw that back fist, which was nice, Kevin threw that step off reverse punch, and I didn't know from this angle if the judges would call either one of them, but that was a nice exchange.
So this nobody's going to go right here because they don't want to give up an additional point. It's just going to be a stare down, and I could have told you that from that point. You know, it is a calculation that you make because you know there's another round coming. It's like, do I go ahead and risk going in? On the one hand, I'll get the 1 point or possibly 2 points, or let's even say the realm of 3 by going in. However, is that risk worth that this other person could score and I will come into the round at a deficit?
Right.
So the logic tells you, nope, stay where you're at. Go in essentially 0-0 or 100-100, whatever you want to make the vernacular at. The score is still the same, and live to fight in the second round so you don't put that much pressure on yourself.
Well, how much pressure do you think these guys are feeling right now? You think any, or you think they're just in the mode and be like, nah, I'm winning this?
There's enough to bust pipes here. Trust me. Right.
And an interesting interaction that we just saw. I wish that we had a professional lip reader back here.
Yes.
But Kevin Walker saying something. It must have been about the mats. There was probably a gap in between the mats up on stage, and he wanted to ensure that it wasn't going to be an issue on the boundary.
Now, before the show, I was asked to actually judge before we got started.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I didn't like is that there was a little bit, it was just a tiny bit of space between those mats. I'm going to tell you right now, from getting my toe caught in something like that, it's not a pleasant experience. You could roll your ankle, you could break a toe. It is not cool. So I'm glad that they're attending to that, and it looks like they were able to get the problem solved. So great eyes. You definitely don't want that, to end in an injury, something like that.
We want to take care of the athletes.
2 minutes for Warrior Cup. Tyson Ray working the leg early. Walker responds with a sidekick of his own. Big sidekick on the hip.
Nice.
Scores for Kevin Walker, 2 points.
Now that changes the dynamic of this round right here with 1:43 left on the clock. Tyson knows that he's down by 2, but he's not panicking. He's working. He's listening to his dad, who was calling out things behind him, and he's going to work. He's looking for angles, throwing a couple kicks of his own. Good hands by Kevin. Didn't get the point, but let's see. Looks like he is going to get 1 point for that punch that he threw.
But did they call it on the exit? Did Walker? Yeah, Walker stepped out of bounds. That's
see.
why he gave that hand signal trying to say he got pushed so that
see.
it wouldn't be a penalty.
Yeah.
But now we're back to 4-4, and there's a quick blitz and a hand combination by Tyson, and he gets it. He goes ahead for the first time in this match. Oh, but he couldn't get that side kick up. Great timing by Kevin. 5-5.
So close, either way.
Inches, game of inches.
Oh, great move by Kevin Walker.
And if you didn't see the first one, he doubled it up and gets the 2-point kick. Tyson is protesting, saying that there may have been a late call, but Miss Perry, is going to throw up those 2 points right there.
Yeah, I mean, she thought it was as well, and she had the front angle. So.
Great hook kick by Tyson, but it looks like Kevin was able to fight way through there. Now we're down by 3.
And how athletic was
nice
that side kick
fist.
to Walker to get his feet back under him and throw up another side kick? That was beautiful. Highlight of the match so far.
So fast.
And another great play. He's down by 1.
Wow.
30 seconds remaining.
Ray goes for the back fist over the top.
I gotta
see it from this angle.
Gotta
Judges
think
don't
that's
call
the
it.
strategy, right?
Right?
The hands.
Yes.
The hands
Okay,
of
now
Tyson.
we're back tied up again.
20 seconds remaining.
Another blitz. Does Tyson go ahead?
He got it.
Yes,
he got
9-8, 16 seconds to go. This is when your heart is beating out of your chest right now.
Exactly.
And you don't want to run anything stupid, just like what almost happened. Tyson goes in. Did he get another point?
That's it. I think Kevin's got a kick.
Right.
Tyson's got
It's
a
4
hand.
seconds to go. Tyson Ray on the way to winning his first Warrior Cup. Did he get it?
Nothing
Tyson
doing.
Ray gets his first Warrior Cup.
Wow. Look
What
at that.
a moment for
Man.
the lightweight overall grand champion. Tyson Ray
And you
goes
see
through two
two.
former Warrior Cup champions to get his first.
Absolutely incredible. You see the absolute, joy
Emotion,
in his
yeah.
father's eyes as he hugs him, and there's a great show of sportsmanship. By the way, these guys fight each other all the time. This is just another weekend as he hugs, Tyreek, this right there off there, who also suffered a little bit of a calf injury.
Oh,
These guys are always competing against each other. They're just raising the level each time in the skill level that they're going to compete against each other. And the emotion you see there from Tyson Ray, throwing up the X for next level. His
So
dad's
happy
cool.
for Tyson and his dad. I mean, great guys, great people, always respectful, whether they're coach. I love to see that. Love to see success for people that work hard and deserve it. Great job. And, the people on the stage obviously deserve it. Tonight was Tyson's night.
Yes.
That was great.
This weekend was Tyson's weekend.
Yeah,
I mean,
big
I
time.
watched him fight through the eliminations, and the way that he was taking on some of these big matches. Tyson is a fighter that has always been in the mix because he's so talented. But for so many years, it was the talent that was carrying him so far. There was another element to his game this weekend that really blossomed, and it resulted in a Warrior Cup.
See how you do under pressure. Yeah, I've been wanting this forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Yeah. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra, extra. A moment can live on forever.
And we thank Century Martial Arts for that great commercial, showing you some of the great gear that they present that not only is out there for us to compete in, but keeping our competitors safe.
Overall Grand Championship Black Belt Girls Forms. Our first competitor coming to the stage is Sofia Rodriguez Flores.
All right, so the 14 to 17 NASCA overall Grand Championship for Black Belt Girls Forms is up, and we've talked about both of these athletes in this competition. But first up, Sofia Rodriguez Flores is back from Sunrise, Florida. She's 17 years old, representing Team Infinity, and I promise you're going to enjoy this.
This is her signature kata. We've heard this music play time and time again on world stages just like this. Rarely do the lights shine brighter than the Warrior Cup Finals. Been with us since the beginning of the show, you know that these junior championships are always a head-to-head showdown between the traditional and extreme. And something that is such an X factor for Sofia is the way that she's able to choreograph her kata with the music. Really makes her traditional form stand out when she gets to this nighttime finals and has the opportunity to put the music in with it.
Now, every good kata could and will stand on its own. However, using that musical element to make points, to accent movement, to show the emotion, the storytelling of this kata only makes it even more powerful.
Music moves the soul.
Yes.
So if it's used properly, it definitely is advantageous. And she is a master at that, and they definitely have a phenomenal routine and presence. Like you can, looking at her face during those up-close shots, you can see she owns that stage, that moment. She's got that gene of performing, and how to turn it on. So that's tough to deal with. Wow.
Clean landing on the jump technique. Great way for traditionalists to show difficulty.
Exactly. That was a repeated technical discussion I had with different competitors over the weekend, judging different events. Is their landings, whether it be creative, musical, extreme, or even traditional, just like the technique you saw Sofia nail, how they land. Are they wobbly? Do we have footwork? So you can see on that example, that's masterclass. Excellent.
It's just the small details at this point. Finger placement, stance, power.
All day
Eye
long at this
focus.
level, all day long. You have 37 people in your division, and you have to look at their pinky toe. It's awesome. Great job, Sophia. That was excellent.
And guess what? Her opponent is.
All right, Avery Presley from Lebanon, Tennessee is back on stage with her empty hand form, and of course she'll be doing her creative musical Extreme. I'm going to assume Extreme after she fixes the mats herself.
She's actually fixing the mat. I had to look at the other monitor to see that's what she was doing.
She's from Tennessee. What you know about her? Glow. All right, here we go. Avery Presley representing Team Paul Mitchell.
And just based off of how many times we've seen these two go at it in the biggest moments. I mean, this is two matchups, first for weapons, now for forms, in the Warrior Cup finals. We've seen it at stages all across this country. We are looking at what might be one of the greatest junior rivalries in the history of the sport.
I think you're getting it. I really do. The last few years of them being head-to-head and how they're doing and the differential is pretty cool.
To speak on that, when you have a rival that you know you're going to see every tournament, it's going to be someone that you've done your last set. Maybe you were running a track, maybe you're doing rounds, and you say, man, I put in the work today, and then something in the back of your head said, I bet you they just did more than me, which prompts you to do another round, one more set.
Champion's mindset. That's how you go to another level. Avery and Sophia both continue to do that. Avery's nailing this. Great presence. She's got a little swag. She's got her superhero landing.
A nice Hawkeye and a strong finish for Avery Presley. A competitor with Warrior Cup medal, looking to add another Forms Warrior Cup to her trophy case. She has to win this Grand Championship first against the ever so formidable Sofia Rodriguez Flores.
You said the word medal. I acknowledge that. That was a good one, sir.
I like to crack open the thesaurus when I commentate.
Listen. My brain is not big enough to sit beside you at times, my friend. I love it. So Sophia looks like she pulls 2 of the possible 7 9s, which means
And if, wait a second, we're going to talk about math now. That means
Avery Presley is going to get the other 5 judges, and she will have another opportunity to go get another Warrior Cup tonight.
Right. Wow, awesome. Either way, what do you want, right? Beautiful, amazing, traditional, beautiful, amazing, well-executed CMX any given day. Great job, ladies. That was great. You should both be uber proud.
And one of the things that's a funny little detail about these wins for these Grand Championships, most of the time when you see a Grand Championship won, you see the emotion come out of the competitor at that point. You see a sigh of relief, they smile, sometimes they get emotional. But here, you see Avery wins the Grand Championship. She's like, all right, give me my trophy. I'm going to smile. I got a Warrior Cup.
I have other business to attend to. Yes. It's because it's just a little bit, because there's the next step that's going on out there. DJ Joey Perry.
We got it. We got the dance going. I don't know about the audience. I'm not
And that's
real
one of
sure.
the things that is so unique about being a competitor at this event, specifically when you're in an overall Grand Championship that runs before you have to go and do the Warrior Cup final, as I did several times in my junior career when I was in 17 and under, is you have to run a form knowing that your expectation is to not be done for the evening.
Right.
So maybe you hold back a little bit, but not so much that you're going to wind up losing in the first place. And so it's this extremely difficult strategic decision to have to make. And speaking about difficult strategic decisions, we're about to see 2 excellent team demonstrations. They're adjusting some mats on stage right now, but in a few moments we've got Team Freestyle and Team Competitive Edge, 2 teams that have been at the pinnacle of team demonstration for the last several years in this sport. We've seen them go back and forth at all the major events, and we get another showdown here tonight between, like we've talked about before, San Diego's finest in freestyle, and then a team with some national flair and competitive edge.
But before we see that, I think we're going to pay some bills really quick.
Oh.
Hey,
Royal Caribbean.
I don't know about you guys, but I want to go on a cruise now.
I'm ready for a cruise. We should do a celebratory cruise after these events.
I'm listening.
And maybe once a month.
I'm
Can
listening.
Can we do some
Once
fundraising
a
for
month?
that? How many
I know, I'm
privates
still
would you have
listening.
to do for us to go on a cruise, Jackson? Let's go. Come on,
I
man.
got to go back to work at some point, Joey.
He's got to go put people back together, doctor
I
stuff,
guess. I guess.
Not yet. Not till May. I don't graduate till May.
Okay, soon.
That's,
Soon.
That's pretty cool. That's really pretty cool. So, hey, thank you guys again for watching the stream here on, we are on the American Karate Association YouTube channel. We know it's going to be reshared. Please keep resharing. Support these athletes
Yes.
and what they're doing
Very much
and
so.
what we're doing with Open Sport Martial Arts. We need all the support we can get. We need all the encouragement. We need everybody participating, helping, supporting. This weekend was the largest AKA Warrior Cup in history.
Oh, wow.
The largest
Wow.
attended Warrior Cup in history and the largest NASCA, the North American Sport Karate Association, banquet for awards from the last year in history. That says a lot about not only where the sport can go, but the team that Hunter's put together and all of our group and everyone contributing and everybody out there wanting to be here for a great weekend. So thank you guys.
Beautifully said, Joey.
All right, so now we're on with demo competition or exhibition, correct?
So team demonstration is the three-ring circus of sport karate. Essentially, you've got a big group of martial arts athletes that go on stage together. They're going to perform all at the same time for part of the performance. You'll see weapon solos. You'll see a bunch of tricking. You might even see some traditional mixed in. You might see some self-defense. Sometimes, not tonight, but sometimes you can see breaking. So in many ways, there are rules for team demonstration, but it often feels like there's no rules. This is an anarchy of a division.
Anarchy even.
I'm watching.
That makes it sound more interesting. Let's go. Now, freestyle coached by Will Jackson, their local studio there in San Diego, California. We've got some great martial artists in California, like my instructor, Quantum Emery Reyes. Shout out, sir. I always have to squeeze that in.
Nice.
And Will Jackson and his team always put on a great show, always well choreographed. So looking forward to this.
And if you think about it, just as Jackson mentioned, what you're about to see is a good mix of everything. And Will is the person that puts this all together. He sees the big picture. He sees that all these passes that you're seeing by these athletes. He sees that, and he knows the talent of each one of his performers. Hey, I want you to do this. I want you to focus on this. I want you to come here. And then the practice over and over and over and over to get what you see right here.
One thing that freestyle does so well is the choreography of these big group combinations. When they're all moving together, they have beautiful formations, a lot of complexity. They really do a nice job. That's one of the parts of their performance where they're at their highest level.
It's often a demo like this that those that are not students will see at maybe at a halftime basketball game or a football game or in a mall or at a fair. They will encourage you to want to try martial arts. Sometimes this is the first exposure that someone says, wow, that looks pretty cool. I would learn how to do that.
You got to think with all of these athletes being from one school, freestyle martial arts, you got to think they get plenty of business there in San Diego.
Absolutely.
So if you're in the San Diego area and you're looking for some sport karate and you want to learn how to do a Webster and catch a bow like Judah Sagawa, Warrior Cup champion tonight,
call Will.
That's another unique part of this. How often do we see a Warrior Cup champion come and be part of team demonstration later in the evening?
That's true.
Wow.
I mean, you see everything's going on in the background. I'm watching the side kicks, and there's someone being thrown up for a backflip in the background.
Slicing and dicing with the commas.
Comma pass.
Commas flying all over to the stage. Nice passing of the swords there. Now the ladies showing off some hand techniques.
I really enjoy the dynamics of the ladies on the freestyle team over the years, judging a lot of their individual divisions and seeing the spunk and energy they bring to that, and a little differential, and then when they put it together in the demo, it's great to watch. So again, great team, great energy. Will's doing a great job.
There's a nice traditional bow section there.
Nice.
And right back to the extreme.
Hey, check this out, right? Immediately.
I mean, there's something to be said about being on a team. As much as this is an individual sport where we're talking there's only one Warrior Cup winner and the other individual events we've seen, being part of a team, if you're struggling with a technique or how can I get this better, you have built-in help. And that's the great thing about this.
And I got to point out, Judah Sagawa just did 4 swing through corkscrews in the middle of this demo.
Yeah, who's helping him with
all?
those?
Is that all? No big deal. Phenomenal.
He can make his nickname the cheat code.
I vote for that.
And Team Freestyle with a spectacular team demonstration performance.
Yes.
I mean, this is why we have to have a jib so that you can get all that on screen at one time.
That was fun. They brought it. Great energy. Great job, guys.
Even synchronized with the bow at the end.
Yeah, clean, man.
Really exit the ring in style.
I think maybe people may have asked. I don't know, but yeah, no, the freestyle's from San Diego, California, under Coach Will Jackson. And freestyle, I think, is also the name of their studio out there.
Write that down. Hey, quick Google search. There you go.
Yeah, I believe that's correct.
The next team coming to the stage.
Takes a second to get all of these martial athletes off the stage. There's a troop. But don't worry, there's a whole other bunch of people get ready to come onto the stage as they begin their walk now.
That's exactly right.
Take a moment to get the various weapons arranged for the transitions to those solo acts. Team competitive edge as they take the stage. The winners of the eliminations, the top 2 finishers, go to stage. It's a close battle between them and freestyle. So as the winners, they have the advantage of going last in the competition this evening.
Team competitive edge from all over the country. I know that quite a few from I saw Mid-South area that I see through there. So a lot of these competitors I've watched growing up and coming through the regional and the national ranks. It's great to see them out here on stage and coming to the world-class level. And as a team, competitive edge is really, honestly, always on fire. They bring it.
Here comes their opening hand combination. Once again, everybody on stage working together. Now it's time to get into some of those weapon solos. We see the commas coming out first.
Look at that little nugget in the middle. He is so little and just working it. Like, he doesn't care. He's like, I belong here. Thank y'all for hanging with me.
Thomas is the man. He's got commas the size of his torso and the heart of a lion. And now we've got Zeke Gomez with the chucks. Look at this crazy release. Under the leg, whips it around, and the catch.
I love the color of the chucks, too. I had the privilege of officiating the 14-15 boys CMX divisions yesterday, I don't know, like 87 hours, and he brought the energy every time he was out there. Absolutely love what Zeke brings to it.
Now the competitive edge ladies showing off their hand combo.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
good
watch
change.
out. Here we go.
Boom.
Elijah Williams over the top, and then his brother Aaron Williams over the top as well, flipping all over the mat. Matthew Moore joining Aaron Williams on that.
Nice tricky passes overall. Bringing the weapons back out now. Slice and cheese.
Here comes a big sword release for Aaron Williams.
Oh,
double
nice.
spin to the knee.
Good job. Oh, beautiful. Nice there.
Now on to my personal favorite segment of any demo.
The bow.
The bow section.
No doubt. And for good reason. Nice. Little rainbow of colors there.
Double spins all around. Looks like there was a little bobble there on the front side. And in a division like this against two teams that are so talented, that can be all the difference.
Oh, great job on the double weapon sequence, guys. Pretty nice. Yeah, you've got competitors here from many different states. You know, our last team being all really from the San Diego area there at the studio, and then this team representing, you got, I can't even name all the states, to be honest with you. Texas, Tennessee, Arkansas, Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina, Virginia. So that's very impressive, as you mentioned earlier, Mallory, about the ability to work together.
Yes.
That's great.
Competitive Edge finishes in style. A strong team demo performance. Maddie Weir's my flexing at the end on the close-up.
I like that shot. That was cool. That was cool. She earned that one. Great performance. I mean, both of those teams brought their game, entertained the crowd, no doubt. What do we think? What do we feel one way or the other on that one?
I will say, freestyle looked on point tonight. Competitive Edge, and maybe it's just because I know them so well, but saw a couple of bobbles on my end. The judges can't hear me, by the way, so those of you at home, don't get worried.
They're not being influenced.
Don't add him. Don't add him.
I saw a couple of missteps on the Competitive Edge side. I wouldn't be surprised if freestyle pulls this one out. They looked great tonight.
Looks like you were right.
Looks like you got that correct, my friend.
And they deserve it. All across the board for Team Freestyle. I didn't see a bobble at all on their end. They work hard, and these teams are neck and neck, so that's all it takes is a slight bobble on one side and for somebody to have a really good night. And it's Freestyle tonight that are going to be the champions.
Love it. That's the beauty of this level of competition, is that you're not going to win every time. And if you have people that are truly working as hard as you are, and it goes back and forth, as you know, all it does is make you both better, or make all of you better. You know, competition drives you to excel and towards that level of excellence. So that's great. Great job, Team Freestyle. Congratulations.
So a big night for Freestyle. They add a Warrior Cup champion to their resume, and they take home the team demonstration title. And then the biggest photo op in sport karate as both teams come together for one more picture with the trophy. And I will say the team demonstration eliminations in this tournament were massive. Obviously, Team Infinity has always been a powerhouse in demo. They were in it. Team Revolution came out with a new demo team. America's got a solid demo team. That is a really deep division they've got.
Let's do that. This commercial right away.
Right on.
My name is Haley Glass. I'm from Orlando, Florida, and I do martial arts, specifically a sub kind of category called sport martial arts. A typical show day, I'll get up, I'll get breakfast. I'm currently still in school, so I'll wake up, get some schoolwork done. I also teach martial arts lessons through like Zoom and Skype or FaceTime. So I'll use that time to teach some lessons, just relax. So I read a book, I'll journal, kind of just use the time to myself, nothing too strenuous. Closer to show time, it's just kind of warm up, get my body ready, then hair and makeup, and then it's showtime. So I'll do my first show. If we're doing 2 shows that day, I get another little break, and then after that, making sure all of our costumes are ready and clean, come back, shower, and then I'll eat again, so I don't go to sleep until maybe like 2 or 3. That's kind of the usual. Opportunities like this come to athletes like myself once in a lifetime. We're recruited for a reason, we get scouted for a reason. Our talents should be displayed the way it is. So I would say take the risk. It just exposes you to so many other aspects of like what we do. It's not just competitions, it's not the usual that a lot of us are so used to. There's so much more to be done and platforms for our talents, and I think this is a great way to at least jumpstart that and see that there are other opportunities out there. Sometimes it's hard to find, but once you do, you should take up on it because it might change your life.
You know, the first question I actually have is that I know that martial artists are adaptable.
Yeah.
But to learn to what you're doing on the mat, to going back and doing it with water, and make up
Oh,
that.
so cool.
That's crazy.
That's so cool. Like, amazing opportunity. I'm so glad to hear that. And telling these young people and young athletes and people, like, chase your dream, do whatever that might be, because it doesn't have to be that, but whatever it is, you can do it. Or at least you've got a clear shot at it. Let's go. I love that.
And it's a way to be a real-life waterbender, right? We've been talking about the
true,
nerds.
right,
There's got to be some anime fans in the audience. Sport Karate also produced Prince Zuko, Dallas Liu, a
Yes.
firebender himself.
That's right. That's pretty cool.
Dallas graced this stage a number of times. He was
Yep.
in a couple of different Warrior Cup rounds with me.
No, that's absolutely right. Awesome.
It's just absolutely incredible to see the level of talent and what they have gone on to do. If you're not sure, just hang around after your favorite show and watch the credits or a movie. Guarantee you'll see a name that used to perform on this stage.
We've had so many for so many years. I mean, you go back like the 80s, 90s. I mean, we have had a lot that go through and move on to that kind of level, and there's more opportunities now maybe than ever. So take advantage. Here's Avery Presley back on stage for the Warrior Cup Junior Forms Final.
In the penultimate event of the evening, it will be 4 competitors once again for a Junior Warrior Cup. Avery looking to get another Forms Warrior Cup under her belt. A 2-time champion overall. Avery has been one of the hardest workers all night long. Yet another stage appearance. Nice landing on the pop flash. There's that signature 540 to the knee spin. This form for her is really going to be a test of endurance. Can she keep that speed all the way through the end after all of these high adrenaline performances?
That's it, keeping the speed, the balance, the explosiveness, and that dynamic movement beginning to end at this level, so important. Because if you lose steam at the end, that's the last thing that the judges saw.
That's true.
So you got to keep it going full throttle.
Start to finish.
She actually got a little speed boost in that last hand combo, and Avery Presley showing just how bad she wants that 3rd Warrior Cup.
Love it. I love that energy. I love her look. And that was a great performance. And hands full in this division. There's 4 competitors, but what a way to start. Amanda Duarte coming out next. She is from New Jersey. She's just 13 years old. She's the 2nd youngest competitor in this grouping, representing Team Revolution. Very solid traditional young martial artist.
Been a mainstay over the last couple of years on World Tour stages. And another multi-talented martial artist. We've seen her up there for traditional a lot, but she also gets up there with her extreme performances.
She always has good music with her extreme performance. I got to give her dad credit for that when he can. So shout out, sir.
And, you know, speaking of her dad, getting a chance to talk to her dad at one local tournament. You know, as a father myself, I love seeing the dads that are behind their kids. And not only that, their daughters, to help them, you know, driving them to tournaments, driving them to private lessons, encouraging them, and standing behind, and then seeing the fruits of those labors. And, you know, he's out there just beaming, just super proud. So shout out to all the dads, and, of course, all the moms, all the parents, period, that come, you know, that make an event like this possible.
Absolutely. Don't make me get teary-eyed up here, Mallory. About our little girls, man. It's special. Amanda is a fantastic martial artist. Obviously, has a great support staff. I agree. Her parents are very supportive and positive out here, so it's always great to see that out on the circuit, so to speak, with that lingo. Amanda, on point. She's got great precision here, great power, the snap of a much older competitor, you know, so she's got that package right now, you know.
And that's what I was just thinking, Joey. You know, we talk about the AK Warrior Cup being the first tournament of the season, coming off a little bit of a layoff. Last World Tour event is in December. Some athletes start to trail off a little bit before that. And so you start to look for some of these adjustments that get made. And Amanda Duarte is faster than I've ever seen her before. Her fast twitch muscle, it's different this season than it was last season.
Don't forget also, these younger competitors face the challenge of their continually growing. They're still growing during this time. you have a growth spurt, and all of a sudden you're going to a different new uniform size. You've gained height, you've gained muscle mass. So they're constantly learning about these newer, bodies that they're growing into.
It makes such a difference. Training young athletes over all the years, especially I've been lucky enough to have a handful that, so to speak, got to this level, and watching them grow over those peak years and seeing what adjustments had to be made, it's a real thing you have to deal with.
A beautiful kata by Amanda Duarte, making her bid for a Warrior Cup.
Great job, Amanda. That was beautiful to see. Great work.
Amanda Duarte!
All right, so as she exits the stage, the third out of 4 competitors will be Caden Camacho out of Florida at 11 years old. So Caden is the youngest, representing Diamond G3. Damian Rodriguez, the heads of that team, great martial artist, point fighting coach and official out of South Florida.
Yeah, it's a team that's on the rise, too.
Oh, always in the mix. Great fighters. He's one of the top coaches, always respectful in my doings over the years. So I always appreciate what Damian brings to the table. So kudos there.
That's what I was going to say. Just one of the good guys in the sport, Damian Rodriguez.
He certainly has been in my experience. He works hard. Caden showing why he belongs on the stage, coming out like on point, focused.
Crisp.
Being crisp, that's right. I love it. Little dynamic kicks there.
And this is a guy that you can tell was going to be on this stage for years leading up to this. I remember him dominating in the 9-under divisions, getting to the runoffs. But oftentimes these young competitors, when they're competing against 12, 13-year-olds, they run into this brick wall in the runoffs. Or runoffs, for those of you that are new to sport karate, that's essentially the sport karate term for like a semifinal is what
correct.
The runoffs are. And so when he's competing against these older, bigger competitors, it's hard to overcome in traditional forms where power is so important. But now we've seen him starting to grow a little bit. He's still got some room to grow on it. But really starting to kind of grow up, and his skills are increasing in a similar trajectory. And it's really beautiful to kind of see it all come together in this kata.
I mean, we'd be also amiss not to mention that great hair that he's got going on, too,
That faux hawk is something else. My hair's too curly and old to do that. But he looks awesome.
I'm not going to talk.
I mean, you might come up a little short, bro.
Keep watching the kata,
Jackson might be our best bet for that one.
I don't think you'll catch me with that look anytime
hang
soon.
on. Let me go
Caden
back.
pulls it off.
Let me go back a few years. Let me see Jackson's first time on stage. And that, was it maybe a premier uniform?
It was a spiky hair.
He might have had a
Jackson
little
Rudolph,
hairdo
yes.
going on there. For good reason. This young man brought his game. Great job, Caden. That was impressive, fun to watch.
Diamond G3's got themselves a little prodigy.
Yes, great job, buddy.
And the final competitor of the division.
Awesome. So as Reed here in house is announcing, Wasim Dridi from Quebec, or I'm sorry, is that correct? From Montreal, rather. I'm sorry, no disrespect there. 16 years old, representing Team Competitive Edge, and again, being able to have the experience we do. A lot of times we see these competitors and know what they're capable of. As you mentioned earlier, with Wasim, we've seen him over the years. We've watched him grow as well. He is one of the strongest competitors of anything. And he's got such dynamics, great airtime, so this should be a great performance if he nails it.
The student of Air Canada himself, Esteban Tremblay, I can assure you that Wasim Dridi is going to fly in this performance, gunning for a Warrior Cup.
And these are the moments you're just a little bit nervous. Maybe it's a little technical issue with his music.
Yeah.
You kind of have to stand there, go through. But he's a pro. He's handling it well.
Won't be a problem. I bet he's already shook it off. Let's go.
Right into the opening trick with a double cork.
That's right.
Essentially a backflip off of one foot with 2 twists. Very high difficulty.
He's explosive, very fun to watch. And when he nails it, so hard to beat for his division and in a grand like this and overall. So let's see.
And that's what it's going to come down to. If Wasim Dridi lands all of his tricking clean with no stumbles, he's going to be very difficult to beat.
Ooh, little stumble
Right on
there. off the
cue, a
landing.
little bit of a rough landing. He recovered it decently. It'll be really up to the judge's opinion how much they decide to take off for that.
Yeah, with this panel, I know it was seen. I have to say
Very
that.
much seen.
But everything else, so phenomenal. Hard to deal with.
Especially when you're just doing a casual side swipe to set up another tricking pass.
Right, casually, right?
I love that variation. A little half twist during the flip to go into the forward roll, right up into a pop front kick. A little old school there on the forward roll.
I appreciate that 100%, as you know.
And Wasim Driddy, a solid performance. We'll have to see what the judges do about that little bobble at the front of the ring. Making for some very interesting scoring, Liga.
Yes, indeed.
It does, and if you're at home with, everybody watching, there's varying experience levels. So we know some of the experienced people watching and supporting, we appreciate you. But for those that might be newer to the sport, as we mentioned all through the night, the scoring and what they're looking at, obviously we mentioned the scoring multiple times about what represents what, but what are the judges looking at, especially when they're looking at all these different things? We've thrown that out there. That was a great example of good diversity, good different, even though they're in the same age grouping, there's still some differential between Avery Presley and Caden Camacho,
Exactly.
and Wasim with the power and what they could do. But that's the challenge of it. That's why this is such a challenge division. Everything doesn't have to be so set up, so to speak. So nice to watch.
This could be a big moment here.
See what she pulls.
1, 2. I'm seeing 2 9.99s for Avery Presley. But in this division,
But
where
yes,
we've had a stumble, nines could go a bunch of different directions.
That's right.
That's
so
right.
she secured 2 of them. Okay, so job well done there.
This
right.
division could come down to the 9.98s in what direction they go.
Wow.
Okay.
Duarte unable to steal a 9. Things are swinging a bit in favor of the boys, but still, if Wasim and Caden split the 9s, there's a chance that Avery slides in there.
Interesting right there. That is super interesting.
There's a
Caden
9-9.
steals 2.
Yeah. Oh, 2. I saw one first, but there's 2.
So 2 9.99s for Caden. That means there's 3 awaiting Wasim. But even if Wasim has 3 9s, there could be multiple 7s compared to Avery's 8s. This
Right.
is going to get really close.
Right, exactly.
49.91. It looks like he's going to hang on by 100th of a point.
the thinnest of margins.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is as close as it gets
Wow.
in forms competition. Awaiting final confirmation.
Seeing if our math was mathing.
You can see by the reaction, Wasim Driddy hangs on and wins his first career Warrior Cup.
Wow, what a final, great job. And that's one of those instances where, like we were talking about the little landing thing with
Yes.
Wasim, but what else did the judges see?
Correct.
Right? You put that on rewind, you go back and look, you say, okay, well, let's look at Camacho's, let's look at Avery, who by all, we felt nailed it in the moment, right? But what did the judges in that area see? Did they see a little step? Did they see 2 little steps? Did they see a hand out of place? Did they see not extension?
In all
you never know.
likelihood, all the judges saw it, but it's a question of
Whether they thought it was enough to make
exactly.
a difference.
His
Correct.
level of difficulty was so high. Does a stumble usurp the level of difficulty that you've observed in the form
Right.
compared to the field? And that's why we see 9s flying a little bit of everywhere, and that's what makes it such an exciting Warrior
And
Cup final.
that is the story that we have. But first, let's go pay some bills.
Let's do that.
My name is Rebecca Chin. I am from Seattle, Washington, and I do martial arts. My background is in a Chinese martial art called Wushu. For show days, I normally take it pretty easy throughout the day. I don't really do any heavy strength training or conditioning beforehand, though I do like to move around a little bit. I will stretch. So in the afternoons, I like to do activities like studying Spanish. I like to read a lot and write. And then at around 4 o'clock, I'll have a big early dinner. After that, I'll start warming up. I like to touch on all the different weapons that I do in the show in my warm-up, as well as all of the more complex body turning movements. I do one of each of my tricks, and then I start with my makeup and my presets, and then get ready to do the show. My favorite part about my job is just performing in general. I think it's so magical, all of the elements that come together, you know, the lighting and the music and the water, they're really speaking to an audience. You're so close to the audience that you could hear them say, like, how did she do that? Where did she come from? All of these little things. That connection is so much fun for me. I enjoy it every single night. What I love most about being in an all-female cast, to be part of a group of women where each of them is, you know, passionate and enthusiastic about their own discipline, and they always want to push themselves to be better. And to have that, I'm so grateful for it. What I love is that so many little pieces are working together to create kind of a crazy, magical experience for guests. And I feel so grateful to be a very small part of that, where I get to do what I love and fit into this larger experience that is really magical for the people who get to come on board.
Another great look inside of the talent that is on the Royal Caribbean Cruise. I mean, it's a wushu stylist almost fits perfect in that in that setup right there.
Agree. All right, so they're bringing up on stage now the Junior Sparring Grand Championship Awards winners from the weekend because they're not doing those particular fights on stage. They've already happened. These are the overall winners. So now it's them. We have Armando Cardenas, Malachi Randall, Nora Hansen, Richard Garcia, Sky Suarez, Sofia Rodriguez Flores, Aria Martin, and Sebastian Villanueva. Congratulations, guys. They were your junior overall sparring grand champions this weekend. Different age groups.
And some huge junior sparring divisions this weekend, too.
Yeah. You're telling me. All the junior, again, this was the largest Warrior Cup ever for, you know, for attendance, spectators, competitors. Divisions were stacked. There were I remember, you know, yesterday, Friday, you know, we started earlier this year on our schedule, and as official working rings and loving to try to get things going, seeing what the numbers were and the times, it was just like, wow, what a coordinating challenge, but we were up for it. You know what I mean? So, and your dad knows a little something about that. So it's fun to work with the team to get those things done. And then when we hear, oh, we have more in attendance this year than ever, that's like a challenge.
Yeah.
You know, that's a throwdown. So kudos once again to the team. Congratulations to everyone for accomplishing what we accomplished this weekend. A lot of hard work to get to this point.
And all of that culminates into the main event of the evening. It has been for years here at the AKA Warrior Cup, the Adult Forms Warrior Cup Final, where we have seen legends of the sport win this exact award over the years, many of which have represented Team AKA and have been students of Sensei Sharkey. You talk about Mike Chat, Matt Mullins, to the modern era. You've got guys, even a guy like Reed Presley, who came and won Warrior Cups after originally being a member of Team AKA and representing other teams in the future beyond that. And I know that I'm forgetting a bunch of people as I'm trying to think of
Craig
AKA
Henningsen.
people, but in form specifically, Salif Solis, our defending champion. We've seen Justin Chang win 2 Warrior Cups. And then, of course, Micah Carnes.
Right, and that's a great preview. And, of course, we love to tee this up, and we'll see it right after this commercial.
Up there? Maybe.
Or we'll just have Joey dance.
I mean. We appreciate Century Martial Arts.
Yes, and one of the things that's great about that is that Century gives back by featuring some of those martial artists that some of them you saw on the stage tonight. By having them as models, which is really cool. Flying down there, they get to do a bunch of things there in commercials. I mean, if that's something you want to go, that's a great start to your career, if that's the direction you want to go in.
Love it. Jackson's had the privilege of working with Century for a lot of years as a bow line, video stuff, a lot of things, curriculum line. So, like, they really support the sport and martial artists, and we really appreciate that entire team at Century.
Taking the stage first in the adult forms Warrior Cup final, Mason Stowell, representing top 10 Team USA. He is seeking his third Warrior Cup. He has one as a junior, one as an adult, looking for number 3 with his traditional kata.
Most people would say that in a group of 5 in a final, you want to draw the last draw, right? You want to go last. You want to leave that last impression. And there's obviously merit to that. There's competitive edge, so to speak, to that. But I don't think Mason cares one moment about that. He's bringing whatever he's bringing, and it's going to be what it is, and it's going to be phenomenal. Guarantee it. One of the best in the game.
And, you know, looking at Mason, who has literally become a world traveler, competing in tournaments nationally, you know, it's if you don't follow him on social media, it's well worth it to give him a follow, because he shows you all the preparation that he does. He tells about where he was. It's interesting to talk to his mom, because, you know, obviously your parents travel with you when you're younger. But now he's just, okay, Mom, I'm off to Turkey. Oh, hey, do good, son.
That often happens with young athletes that grow up in a sport like this, that travel so much, that are mature enough to handle that type of experience, you know, and then excel in those moments and look forward to it. So Mason's certainly one of those athletes, and everyone at home watching him, just one moment, you can tell he's got it.
And in addition to being one of the absolute best in this game, one thing that's great about Mason Stowell is he carries himself with such humility, such respect. He really is a great role model for all the young martial artists out there, in addition to the fact that he is probably the most powerful traditional forms competitor, not just in the circuit right now, but that we've seen in the last 30 years. I mean, the amount of strength, physical strength that he has is unreal.
He's going and lifting the gym. I mean, he's incorporated strength training so much into his kata, and you can see the dividends. He looks like a brick wall.
He gets that from Mama and Daddy. They are both phenomenal athletes, so credit to both of them. I know they're watching at home, so you guys have done a great job.
He also gives back through his Kata Mastery program, helping young athletes learn the skills that he's using to be here in this Warrior Cup final.
Yes. Works with some of our athletes out of that we have out of Resolute in Florida. We have a few that do lessons with him and love him. So kudos to Mason.
And again,
crowd getting into it with a little soul clap.
Yes, I love that. I think we had a good crowd tonight. We always have a great crowd here at Warrior Cup.
And this is how you know you've got a great traditional forms competitor. See how as soon as that round of applause stopped, you could hear a pin drop. Mason Stowell does such a phenomenal job of controlling the room and pulling people into his performance. And that's why he's in this position with a chance for Warrior Cup number 3.
That's right.
Mason Stowell.
Yeah, fantastic job once again, and as always from Mason. That's beautiful to watch. Great job, sir.
Samuel Diaz.
All right, so Samuel Diaz coming up next out of Stratford, Connecticut. He's 38 years old, representing Team Paul Mitchell. We watched and spoke about him a little earlier.
And once again, representing the senior division. Now, after he got off stage from the Weapons Warrior Cup final, I actually received a text message here in the booth from Samuel Diaz telling me about the kata he plans to perform, and I'm going to read it verbatim.
Okay.
He says, quote, "I'm going to do Hotak in the Warrior Cup round. It is a lost kata." It sounds mysterious.
It does. Ooh.
It is the foundational kata that other forms like Goju-Shio, Sho, and Dai were born from.
Okay. All right.
A man who knows his history.
So we have an origin story on stage.
and the great thing about this is it's so interactive. Like, we're looking at comments on the broadcast. I got a congratulations comment from Mike Chat. Shout out to Mike Chat, who was disappointed that he couldn't be here tonight, but said, you know, kill it, do a great broadcast. So we received those texts and those messages, and we're keeping an eye on them. And, you know, some of those we mentioned. I like that from Sam, because you get a little preview of what he's doing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, we missed Mike Chat this weekend, who's for so many reasons legendary with AKA and tied in on so many levels, and has obviously gone on to be what he is. And the Power Ranger of our generation, and much more. So shout out to Mike. He's phenomenal martial artist, AKA legend.
And to give some credibility to Sam Diaz's claim, we saw that section with the knife hand stepping across, reminiscent of what we would see in a Goju Shio show, which is a bit more popular form. So I love the fact that he got deep into his bag of kata to select one for us this evening.
Yeah, we've got we're in our bag tonight. I like it. Dude.
Lots of traditional, little history. Gotta love it.
Another great way for a traditionalist to show difficulty is showing off their balance, especially late in the form when those legs start to get a little tired, a little wobbly. Sam Diaz sticks it.
My legs get wobbly when I walk on the stage. I don't even have to do the kata. So kudos to them.
Couple of nice cat stances. And another balance move. Let's see if he can hold it. Look at that focus and intensity. Then the front kick for Sam Diaz.
Very nice. Hey, that's a great shot. Look at that. Look at that intensity and energy. He commanded that form like the Commanders over the Lions tonight in football. Great job.
Try not to say something.
I know, Mallory, you're a little biased there, but that's okay. It's all love. Great job, Samuel.
As we speak, there's 7.5 minutes left in that game, just in case a
Anyone's
Detroit Lions
wondering.
miracle comeback. But
Never.
with two DMV residents in the booth and me and Mallory.
By the way, Andrew, yes, thank you so much. Montreal is in Quebec. A+. Thank you, and yes, sir.
I was going to let it slide, Andrew. You don't got to call him out.
No, we've known each other too long. Andrew and I go way back. We were youngsters, so thank you. You're right. It is all day. All right, on stage we have one of, in a lot of people's opinions, including mine, one of the smoothest executioners of traditional kata in our open sport karate game, and she of course plays in other arenas in traditional karate and pushes her limits in her technique, and you can certainly see that with this performance. Miss Maddie Kenaway.
And this is a signature kata of hers with, as you mentioned, the smoothness, these fluid motions. This is the kata that she used to quite literally burst onto the scene at NASCA tournaments a few years ago. Kind of came out of nowhere and started winning overall grand championships as a junior. Now her first year in the adult division, looking to make some waves.
Little interesting note with Maddie this weekend, I was able to watch the tri-challenge that she took off and won with, and then this morning the open division of traditional kata, she had one of the competitors, Miss Rose, who's one of the top national champion competitors, won that division. Maddie came in right there on her heels with that, with a slightly different performance, and you could see, you know, that hunger in both of their eyes trying to push, and Maddie winning the bid to come in on stage with this, and of course we see why. You know, she's taking it up a level from what I saw earlier. So saying all that to give her kudos, because this is another level tonight.
Getting a chance to watch this, you know, the actual runoff before the show, she is literally telling a story.
Yes.
With this. I mean, the music, everything, her facial expression. I was sitting there, and it's very rare that I judge kata. Okay, let me just tell you right now. Put that down as a mark. But I was captured. I could not look away.
Oh,
everything
right
came
there
together at one point.
Hey, great camera work by our camera crew. Look at that. Look at these
Solid.
angles. Hey, listen, if you're at home, I hope you enjoy all of this. Look at that.
And a beautiful contrast that we're getting here. Our
Yes.
first two competitors bringing Japanese kata with such power in Mason Stowell
Yes.
and Samuel Diaz III. And then Maddie, also powerful in those explosive moments, but for the majority of the form, just showing this beauty and grace in her kata. A wonderful job.
If you guys can't tell, we're fans over here of all of it.
Big fans.
All
Big
of
time.
it. Every one of it. Love it. Great job, Maddie. Beautiful work.
Representing Team Impex KTOC.
The next competitor, Esteban Tremblay.
All right, you might have overheard there your next competitor. Again, there was the final 5 here of the night, as Jackson mentioned at the beginning. Your 4th out of the 5. He's back, Air Canada, Mr. Esteban Tremblay. I got a feeling he's going to take all of the frame of the camera.
Oh, you need to back out. You need to absolutely.
They need to back it up.
Just show you right now.
Back it up.
Because he will jump out of this frame.
Esteban looking to cap off what could be a huge night for Canada. He already has a Warrior Cup himself in weapons. Katarina Herman getting the Women's Sparring Cup. And Wasim Driddy. And then a huge kick full to get things going for Esteban. And what could be a 4th Canadian Warrior Cup this evening.
Wow.
Those shipping charges to Canada are going to be expensive. I just want to bring that up
Canadian
right now.
Customs is going to have a problem. That's all I know. That's cool, though. We'll take it. It's great for the sport. Diversity is great for the sport.
Esteban choosing to go no music, showing off his power once again.
Yeah, cool choice. Without music there.
Huge opening combo into the Shuriken Cutter.
Beautiful Shuriken.
Resets. Here comes the second section. Throwing in the knife hand chop before the jumping front kick.
Well, with the little slide out twist with the bottom leg there, ever so subtle. Nice job.
Huge crowd awakener after the traditional twist kick there. Aerial to the D-leg full. Hard to come up with enough momentum for that double leg, putting the legs together
But
after
he got
an
it.
aerial as opposed to a cartwheel.
Yeah, no, he got it. I love it. Love a good D-leg, man. That's awesome. Oh,
Webster split, and that will do it for Esteban Tremblay, seeking a 2nd Warrior Cup on the evening, a 3rd in his career, and a 4th for the great land up north, Canada, this evening.
yeah, great job, Esteban. Way to go, man. That was great. All right, so final competitor of the evening. I mean, we have some goodbyes and things here in a moment, but our final competitor of this division, Miss Haley Glass from Orlando, Florida. She's back. Let's see what she brings.
Haley Glass off to the races with her opening hand combo. Look at the speed and power. Now she's ready for some tricking. Big cart D-leg full for Haley. Nice. Touchdown raise, pop flash. Haley bulletproof glass. Looking to shatter the history books tonight and take home a Forms Warrior Cup. And Haley Glass bringing all the intensity she can muster, telling the judges to give her a Warrior Cup.
I said it before, the most difficult job in this room right now is a judge.
I will say it every single time. I'm so happy to be here and not down there judging. And I love to judge, but not in the finals. It's so much. Love it. What a division.
Well, you know, all the hard work has been done right now.
Yeah.
So the calculations, the judges, they're all looking at their little notepads and things they've done.
And this is another one of those divisions that it could go any direction. Just like the Junior Forms Warrior Cup that we watched, where nines were flying all over the place. That is very, very possible in this division.
I mean, do we have a call? Do we think we know who won?
I'm not even guessing.
No? Jackson's laughing it off. He's like, don't even ask me. Great. Again, at home, I hope you enjoyed that. That was a fantastic final. That's what it's all about.
Out comes the first set of scores. And forget Nine's flying everywhere. It looks like this could be a blowout.
Hold on. There is
Wow.
a possibility of a 10.
Well, there
is possible.
There is. That'd be something. That'd be something.
Mason certainly thinks he's got it, taking a whole lot of bows after that one.
I would.
And let's be real, 10s are unlikely, but
Unlikely.
possible.
Correct.
Yes.
9.95.
Now, I know that Mason Stowell's mom and dad are watching at home, and we just made them really nervous by talking about 10s as their son's getting straight 9.99.
Right.
Yes.
Let's have a little sympathy here.
9.97. 9.98. 9.98. 9.98. 9.96. 9.98. And 9.95.
Solid scores for Maddie Kennewan. Several judges putting her in second place above some of the guys.
Esteban Tremblay. 9.98. 9.96. 9.97.
And Esteban, a reserved look, already a Weapons Warrior Cup champion tonight. A Forms Cup not in the cards for this evening. And with those numbers, it looks like it will be Mason Stowell with a runaway victory.
Wow.
You say that, and an agent of chaos, I want to see all 10s.
You do. You do. Not in the cards tonight, though.
9.96. 9.96.
Wow, what a final. So really, really fantastic. What a treat here at the end of the night.
And
Great
impressive
job.
for Mason Stowell going first in a stacked division.
Setting the pace.
Anybody in that division could have taken home this Warrior Cup. Mason Stowell goes first, and he is now a 3-time Warrior Cup champion.
Wow. Great final. So Mason, Maddie, Sam, we got Air Canada, and Haley Glass. What a final Forms championship. Great job. And Hunter Lyon and Grandmaster John Sharkey on stage for that final Warrior Cup award. Looking sharp. All right, and Mason takes the big win. Outstanding. All right, so as they conclude that on stage, that concludes our night. So that concludes all the competition here in Chicago for this year's AKA Warrior Cup. We appreciate you and giving credit to the AKA crew, Hunter Lyon and Grandmaster John Sharkey, put on a great event this year. We appreciate Royal Caribbean and Century Martial Arts, our big-time sponsors for the weekend. Couldn't do it without them. We also appreciate Holly Perry, I know her, for sponsoring the Women's Final Grand. We didn't mention that earlier, so thank you. She's the president of the Professional Martial Arts Conference. And for Reed Presley on stage, Mallory Woods, Jackson Rudolph, I think I'm Joey Perry. We appreciate you guys watching the show. We love you. We hope you come back next year. Enjoy your night. Thank you from everybody at AKA Warrior Cup Final. See you next year.